Apologize for my voice being a little rough this morning. Unlike Todd Pyra, it wasn't because I went to a golf tournament and smoked cigars. I went to the Blues game last night, and I was yelling for the hometown Blues. Let's go Blues. And they won in overtime.
I mean, not to call you out, Mark. I did know you were going to the Blues game, but I can always tell when you've had a late night when you come in wearing a hat.
It's true. I usually don't do that, but you can tell if I've gotten a minimum required number of hours of sleep. I'll just throw the hat on and head out the door. I'll sleep the last possible minute and then get down here and try to get the show on the air. But thank you to Ethan, who's filling in for Carl Middleman, who also had a late night last night but has the day off today. So very smart. Every time there's a Blues game, Carl's there till the game is over. So in this case, 9:30 probably when the game is, because it went into overtime for 5 minutes. The Blues won before the overtime period was over, which was nice. And then, of course, you have to find your car, fight traffic, and get home. So, we had a great time last night. Good turnout, and hopefully the Blues are on a bit of a streak. Those two teams looked very evenly matched. I won't try to do sports because I don't really understand hockey all that well. I'm just being honest with you. It's never a sport that I played, but I enjoy watching it. And those two teams were very evenly matched. It was pretty clear at some point in probably the second period that whoever scored first would probably win the game because they were just the goalies were on it last night.
It was Bennington?
No, it was the other goalie. I don't know his name. Sorry.
I think his name is Other Goalie.
It could be.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Bennington is the one I'm most familiar with because his name is on my jersey that I wore last night. So
the one day we need Carl.
Yeah, the one day we need Carl. He's sleeping before jetting out of town. So anyway, we still got lots to get to. There's never a dull moment. Coming up a little later, we are going to talk to Major General Bob Dees. He's retired now, but yesterday they killed the Hamas leader, and I'm listening this morning to a spokesman for the Biden administration speculating on whether or not this might bring a faster end to the war. Are you kidding me? They're like ants coming out of an anthill. You step on one, there's 50 more coming after them. But what we need to do is back off and let Israel prosecute this war. And let the next guy up find out what it's like to have a rocket land in your bedroom in the middle of the night. Because
you see those images of him, how he was found?
I did not.
They're pretty graphic. I mean, there's video of his final moments where it looked like he had a knife or something and he threw it at the Israeli soldiers. And there's pictures of how he looked when they found him.
Wow.
I'm assuming
they got him with a bomb.
Well, they did, but I'm assuming they're real. That may have happened after that. I was trying to understand the timeline of everything. If you don't want to see it, don't search it on social media because that was how I found it, and I'm going to assume that it's legitimate, but you never know these days. Pictures can be doctored so easily.
Yeah.
Looked like he was missing an arm and finger, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, I have not seen those photos, but I don't lose any sleep when terrorists get killed. That guy was probably the mastermind of October 7th.
Well, 100%. I thought that was acknowledged, right? That he was absolutely the guy. That they found a book that he had even written detailing how they were going to abduct people and rape women and kill them. I mean, he was like a playbook of how to massacre all these people in Israel.
Well, good riddance to him, and we'll check in with the retired Major General and get his thoughts on what happens next there in the Middle East for sure. We got Dinesh D'Souza joining us as well in the next hour at about 6:35. Of course, he's got a new movie and book out called Vindicating Trump, and I'm anxious to get him back on the air. We've tried for a long time, and getting him up this early has apparently been a struggle. So getting him on the air for the morning show has been a little bit of a struggle, but we're glad we got him for this morning. We'll get to that a little later. First of all, though, Ethan, let's get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Short List.
We're going everywhere. Kamala and I are going everywhere. Between the two of us, we're about regulars on Fox News now.
Oh, for God's sake. Really? Tim Walz, we're regulars on Fox News now. Because he went on with Shannon And she went on with Brett, and then they both bellyached afterwards about how it wasn't a fair interview. It wasn't fair because you asked me follow-up questions. Journalists aren't supposed to do that.
I don't know how many more elections I'll be involved with, and I'm too old to gild the lily. Heck, I'm only 2 months younger than Donald Trump.
I'm only 2 months younger than Donald Trump. He sounds like he's fading fast. And I want you to bear in mind he is younger, about the same age as Sammy Hagar, who turned 76 yesterday, I think. Celebrated in Cabo and conducted a full rock concert the same night. So just so you know.
The media has begun discussing the phenomena of secret Trump voters. I don't know if you've heard about this. People who publicly say they would never vote for Trump, but then when they go in the voting booth, they do. It's a small group. They're called the Biden family.
Comedian Jim Gaffigan, they're having a little bit of fun last night as he was giving his opening remarks at that Al Smith dinner in New York. And oddly enough, Donald Trump was there too.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris, but I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
The funniest thing about this is that this thing was born, this dinner, this idea of the dinner, it's a fundraiser, right? Archbishop Dolan was there, sitting on the dais, right, two seats to the right of the podium. And this started as a fundraiser where everybody got together and they set politics aside and they ribbed each other all night, right? In a time when, Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan, the former Democrat leader of the House, and the president would get together and have beers and slap each other on the back and tell Irish jokes. And, I mean, it was a different time when this thing was founded. And now you've got such a partisan divide in America between these crazy leftists who've occupied the Democratic Party now, not the party of my grandfather for sure, and the Republicans, who are the only ones that have a shred of common sense left. So now the jokes are all real, right? Like whatever they're joking about is really happening. Like women winning in women's sports, and I mean these are things you used to joke about, but those things are off the table now because they're real. They're really happening. So the best image last night, in my opinion, and I'm going to pull it up here for you. The best moment was Chuck Schumer was sitting right next to Donald Trump. I don't know how that happened. But Trump was speaking, and Schumer was seated at the first seat next to the podium. And Schumer sitting there never cracked a smile in any of the video I saw. Like it looked like he was completely pissed off to be there. And Trump unleashed this one on him.
Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum. Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
And Schumer barely cracked a smile. I mean, because it's theater of the absurd. It's true. He could declare tomorrow that after cooking raw hamburgers on his grill, he feels like a woman. And those idiots on the other side would take him seriously and start calling him she, her.
Yeah. Or they, them, whatever the case may be.
Whatever it may be, them. I don't know what the hell he would be.
You think Trump wrote his own jokes? I could see him having, I don't know if he'd have the time to do that, but I could see him having fun coming up with some of these one-liners.
Maybe. I can see him either signing off or not signing off on some of them because a couple of them were pretty good zingers, and I'm going to get to those for you coming up here in just a couple of minutes because I don't know if the mainstream media is going to play some of this because it was damning to Kamala, listen to me, Kamala Harris, who opted not to show up.
She sent a Zoom video, right? That was my understanding. Was she initially said she wouldn't go. Then
busy.
She sent a Zoom video, and it was embargoed, so they weren't. I don't even think anybody was that the organizers were even able to see it until the actual event.
I just think she missed an opportunity. I mean, Biden participated in this thing in 2016 with Trump. I think Trump and Hillary, maybe 2020 COVID canceled it, but I think Trump and Hillary participated in this dinner. I think
she's the first presidential candidate since the 1980s. Was it 1984 to skip it? I mean, it is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the results are the same as they were in 1984. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, we're going to get to a quick break here, and first, though, we will, I assume, get to the fray.
It is.
So proudly we hear that the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, or the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Good morning and happy Friday. We look good on the roads, at least at this hour. And if you're traveling on eastbound 70, things look great from out west into downtown. I've been taking a little tour here on the Cordell and Cordell Domestic Litigation Firm cameras. I'm at 70 at Lucas and Hunt, and traffic is moving well through there. No delays on northbound 270 at this hour as you head on up toward Manchester. And 55 looks good through the construction zone. Quiet on the Illinois side as well. So far, so good here this morning. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 520 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
All right, you know where I was last time? I was at the Blues game, which is why my voice is so scratchy this morning, yelling, "Let's go Blues." You know what I saw a lot of? I saw a lot of the folks from Window World there. The men and women who scrape the ice between plays with those shovels. If you pay close attention, those shovels say Window World on them. Their sign is all over the place. They're the official window of the St. Louis Blues. And if you're considering new windows, I would suggest that you go and pay attention to that and support the company that supports our hometown team. That would be my Window World friends. And they're offering up to 36 months of financing right now with approved credit. That's great. They're giving away 4 tickets to the Blues game. If you call them up and you get your free estimate, you mention my name, tell them you heard Marc Cox talking about it. They're going to enter you to win. They're going to pick a winner every month through the fall. And you have a chance to win 4 great seats to a St. Louis Blues game, and that makes it pretty easy. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Online at windowworldstlouis.com.
The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood, do you think that the United States and also the world understands the gravity of what took place in Israel on October 7th?
No.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll free at 888-367-6512.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
There's more to the St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's than just walking, and even more reasons to join us for families facing the disease today. For more time, for treatments, we're closer than ever to stopping Alzheimer's. But to get there, we need you. Join us October 26th at the Chesterfield Amphitheater for St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's, the world's largest fundraiser to fight the disease. Register today at alz.org/STL Walk. That's alz.org/STL Walk.
Hey, it's Annie. Let me tell you about why Cassens & Sons Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram has earned the Fry family's repeat business. We are currently driving a Jeep and a Pacifica from Cassens. We know that when we shop at Cassens, we are getting fantastic vehicles at great prices and the service to back it up. The website is CassensSons.com. That's CassensSons.com. And if you're looking for a vehicle, look no further than Cassens & Sons Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Just off 270, a mile up north on 159. You can call them at 618-800-2712. CassensSons.com.
You're up, we're up. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
Yeah, nothing. Let me repeat, nothing is too low for the left to try to escalate into a story, a fake news story, which their fellow journalists are happy to jump on and try to blow stories out of proportion. They get fed these stories, and then that's what happens. That's just what happened with the Channel 4's coverage of the Josh Hawley bus illegally parked. They did a whole news story on it. They actually sent a camera guy out, or a camera girl, I don't know who they all are these days, and took video of Josh Hawley's bus because the driver stayed next door to a hotel. There was no room in the parking lot, so he parked next door. And because that was illegal. The news had to go do a story on the fact that Josh Hawley's bus was parked illegally. Not a story that might be legitimate when Mike Kehoe was driving around in a bus that was paid for by some Chinese lobbyist. That was at least a legitimate story to go do a story on that bus. There was no legitimacy here. It was just the people who hate Trump or hate Hawley called the news station, and they're the only ones that covered it, to the best of my knowledge, which is pathetic. Same thing with this Trump and the enemy story. I listened to this interview with this Alex Bolton guy from The Hill this morning, and Kim, I'm sure you listened to it too. What is the title of the article that he wrote for the left-leaning Hill newspaper?
GOP cringes over Trump's vow to wield military against opponents.
Yeah. So he makes these comments to Maria Bartiromo, and of course the media takes the entire comment out of context. And I want to talk about that for a minute because if you Google Trump military enemies, these are the headlines that come up. Trump suggests using military against enemy from within. Trump sparks outrage after calling for the army to handle protesters. Trump urges the military to handle radical left lunatics. The Washington Post, The Guardian, CNN, all of the regulars, The Hill. Did you hear the context in which Donald Trump said this to Maria Bartiromo? Here was the question. If my computer's up over here, Ethan. Here was the question and his answer. Listen.
Let's remember, you've got 50,000 Chinese nationals in this country in the last couple of years. Yeah. You have people on the terrorist watch list, 350 in the last couple of years. You got, like you said, 13,000 murderers and 15,000 rapists. Right. What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful election day.
Well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening in all fairness. He spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
Specifically in the context of riots happening after the election because the crazy left in this country, and they are enemies of the United States. They want us to become a socialist country. To me, that is the definition of an enemy. If you are a socialist and you want to change my country to a socialist country, you are an enemy. That he would use the National Guard. Guess who occupied Washington, D.C. for weeks after January 6th? The National Guard. The Democrats brought in the National Guard. What's the difference? We'll get to Kim on a whim in just a minute.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
All right, I talked to my friend Chad Hansen just the other day. He's doing great. His company is doing great. They've expanded. They're down in Branson now. They've been down there for a while. They're working hard down around Columbia, and they're working hard for you. If you have got trees that you're concerned about, fall is the best time when the temperature drops. That is the best time for you to have an arborist come out and have them trimmed or pruned, whatever they recommend, because they're the experts. You want somebody who understands what your tree's going through, because when the temperature drops, it reduces the stress on the trees, and that's the time to get them trimmed and pruned and maybe removed and ready to go for spring and get your yard ready. They can even bring mulch out. Mulch kind of provides a blanket around the base of your trees and your shrubs. Hansen makes their own mulch, so let them come out and take care of you. That is Hansen's Tree Service. Tell them you heard Marc Cox talking about it. You can go online to hansenstree.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Tons of sunshine on this Friday, and though it's chilly right now out the door, it's a nice afternoon. Look for a high of 71. Tonight, clear skies, falling through the 60s for evening plans, 45 for the low the weekend. Top 10 weekend on the way. Saturday, sunny, chilly start, but a mild afternoon, 75. Sunday, chilly start, but sunny and 75 Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
American Express reports earnings this morning, though some analysts are expressing caution about the credit card giant because consumers are believed to be keeping budgets tight. Marc Tepper, CEO at Strategic Wealth Partners, says big banks have reported mostly upbeat numbers for the summer quarter.
One of the key things I've taken away from the banks, though, is that they believe that the consumer is still okay, that the consumer is not struggling, which is obviously good for stocks. That's good for the economy.
Earnings are also expected today from Fifth Third Bancorp, Procter & Gamble, Regions Financial, and oil services company Schlumberger. Also, we'll find out if more new homes were going up last month. Housing starts and building permits for September are released today. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola. Invested in you.
Cybersecurity Awareness Month is in full swing, and LifeLock is here to spotlight the threat of phishing.
those sneaky scams designed to trick you into revealing your personal information. While staying alert is important, true protection goes beyond just awareness. That's where LifeLock steps in with comprehensive protection. LifeLock doesn't just warn you about suspicious activity. LifeLock monitors your personal info and resolves identity theft issues if they arise. Take control of your security. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
We look good on the roads this morning. It's pretty early and pretty quiet. So quiet through North County. Really no delays through there. Things are looking great on 270 this morning. Well, if you happen to be traveling on northbound 55, things look good there as well. Really no problems throughout the area. And if you are eastbound on 6440 or will be, or on 70 at this hour, we really are in good shape. Just a construction note for you tonight on 55, 8 p.m. until 5 a.m. tomorrow. Crews plan to close one southbound lane between 44 westbound and Arsenal. So they'll be out doing some extra road work overnight tonight. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 532 at 97.1. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. And I'll tell you, this report is brought to you by New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring. New Perspective Senior Living of Weldon Spring offers state-of-the-art AI detection system, modern apartments, and delicious meals. New Perspective of Weldon Spring is redefining senior living. Visit npseniorliving.com to schedule a tour day. Thank you, Ethan. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 533 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Well, you heard my friend Charles Payne on the air with us this week. Great to have him back on. He's been very busy because he's been out there promoting his new book called Unbreakable Investor, where Charles has kind of outlined the strategies he's used through this market to prosper, right? And he wants you to prosper, and he's willing to share the book with you for free. For the cost of shipping, you can get a copy of his book, and he was kind enough to let us offer that to my listeners. So text the word Cox, C-O-X, to 505-505, and they'll text you right back and give you access to a free copy. You just pay the shipping. I don't know how much it is, $5 or $6, and you've got a $30 book that you can use to, restructure your 401k, talk to your broker about what Charles is doing versus what they're doing. Whatever it is, you can use it to your advantage. It's an easy read, $29.95 book for free if you text Cox to 505-505.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-296-7260. That's 800-296-7260. 800-296-7260.
One of the things with running is I want to enjoy the run, but I never made it very far because the arches in my feet just killed me. So when I got to the end of my rope and I said I have to do something to get rid of the pain, and a couple people recommended the Good Feet store to me. I loved how I could go in and get a free personalized arch support fitting. They put that time, that work, that effort into helping you find the right arch supports. And you can walk around this store with these in your shoes and try them out before you purchase them. So after I got my arch supports, the arches on my feet stopped hurting and the pain instantly, literally instantly went away. So if you have pain, go. Find a Good Feet store and go. There is an answer. Find the simple solution that will get rid of your pain. I'm Rondi, and that's my Good Feet story.
See how Good Feet arch supports work for you before you buy with a free fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
More ideas, less taxes. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Kim on a Whim.
Kim on a Whim is proudly brought to you by Missouri Brush Control. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com.
It's day 9 of rejection therapy, and I am going to ask a stranger for $100. My pulse is 127 right now. That's what my heart rate is. And you can see my camera is shaking. This is the most challenging task that I have. According to me, I am really nervous, but I just want to get this out of the way, so let's go. One more thing, my goal is to do this without justifying or saying like sorry or this is a strange request or anything like that. I'm just going to make the request. Excuse me, could I borrow $100, please? That's okay, thank you. I did it!
Well, that right there, that video is part of this now viral trend on TikTok called rejection therapy. People are so scared of getting rejected that what they're doing to overcome that fear is they're going up to random people and making strange requests that are likely to get a no intentionally. They know that going into it, so that when the person says no, it helps them to process that and they get more comfortable with hearing no, and then eventually they assume they're going to get over their fear. But
I could reject him a lot easier than that. You need to feel rejected, come and ask me. I'll help you.
I think there's a
it's
serious
a trend.
fear. It's a trend. It's gone viral on TikTok. I think there really is a big fear of rejection. I mean, you think of like, oh, I'm too scared to ask that boy or ask that girl out.
Yes.
I get that, okay? But I'm talking about even right now as it relates to politics. People are way too scared to in some cases, show their support for Donald Trump or say that they're pro-life or ask somebody, hey, are you registered to vote? Hey, how do you feel about this? They're too scared to even have those conversations because they're so terrified of getting rejected.
No, I think what they're terrified of is not the rejection. They're terrified of being challenged on their beliefs. I think most people don't have the strength of their convictions to stand up and explain why they feel the way they feel, or they've been conditioned by our society to be an apologist for how you feel. And you can't be both. You certainly can't do that and host a radio show. Right? I have a radio show where I'm allowed to talk about the news of the day and give my opinion. You're in the same situation now. And I don't think it's a fear of rejection, maybe, but maybe it's a fear of not getting the positive feedback that you feel like you need for your self-esteem.
Well, I think that goes hand in hand with rejection.
Right. You have to get to the point where you don't care.
I think that as it relates to this job right now, my stance on politics and all of these things over the last maybe year or so. No, really, I would say it was 2021. It was when I lost my job at KMOV over the vaccine mandate. That really put a fire under my butt and just gave me this boldness that I don't think I had before. But there are other facets of my life where I absolutely am a little too scared to say certain things, or I might shy away or second guess it. And I think that this is the anxiety. I mean, that is gosh, what was the movie that just came out? Inside Out, right? Inside Out 2 just came out, the animated one.
Yeah. With all the emotions and everything.
And the latest emotion was anxiety. I mean, that is the number one thing I think that you hear. Well, not just teenagers, but I hear it a lot from the younger generation is, I'm so anxious. I have so much anxiety. It's almost as if that's celebrated. But, they talk about exposure therapy, where if you say you have a fear of spiders, you're supposed to gradually introduce yourself to the spiders, and then somehow you're going to miraculously...
You just go up and shake hands with them?
You do,
how do you do that?
I think you just eat the spider, actually. And if you eat enough spiders, they say you're not going to be scared of them anymore.
If my daughter's listening right now, she's screaming at the radio, chicken crap, because she's scared to death of spiders, and she runs the other way.
You know what I tell
And
myself?
she's almost 30.
When I see a spider is I'm like, okay, you know what? Just picture Charlotte's Web. It's a cute little spider. It can talk. It's really sweet. It doesn't want to hurt me or run under
Some of them
the
do.
fridge. You know, the worst is when you try to kill it and it runs away
Then you
and then
can't
you have
find it.
no idea where it went.
My wife was describing that about a camping trip she took without me with my daughter before I arrived and met up with them. And they saw a spider in the camper, a bug. And she said, I said to myself, I've got one chance to get it because if it gets away when I go for it, neither of us will sleep a wink tonight, knowing that it's in the camper somewhere. I'm like, it's more scared of you than you are of it.
Yeah, you
would be
can tell
my
me that a
suspicion.
million times, but I'm still going to be scared to kill it.
So back to your point about, I mean, this is about people needing some sort of affirmation, in my opinion. You know, like Stuart Smalley on the SNL skits. You're good enough, and darn it, you deserve it. It's that kind of thing that if you're this fear of rejection, and maybe it's because of the way you were raised. I don't know. Were you not raised with the confidence to go out and face the world?
I think that even if you're raised like that, I think that just the way that things are right now, I think people are terrified. I think social media is also created this weird phenomenon where people were so obsessed with likes and comments. Remember that even at one point, I think it's still in effect, Instagram took it off where you don't see how many people like a certain picture. You just see, let's say you liked it. It would say Marc Cox and others like it. And I think it was because people were so fixated on getting a certain number of likes and they were almost falling into a state of depression if they didn't get the reaction that they were hoping for, which of course would be then a sign of rejection.
And it gets back to the keyboard warriors. I saw a quote that was attributed to Mike Tyson. And I don't know if Mike Tyson ever said it or not, because I've seen quotes attributed to Abraham Lincoln that I know he didn't say on Facebook. But it said the biggest problem with social media is that you can say whatever you want without getting punched in the nose. And if you got punched in the nose, you probably would have thought twice about saying it. So there are a lot of people very bold on social media, but not face-to-face.
That's what they need to invent.
We have circumvented that personal interaction, right?
Right. They would never have the guts to say it to someone's face.
In many cases, they would not.
They need to have a hand that comes out and clocks you right in the face if you say something that is deemed so stupid.
I've always heard everybody needs to get hit in the nose at least one time because it'll make you realize that, yeah, while it hurts for a few minutes, it makes your eyes water, you can live through it.
Well, I got hit in the head with a plastic guitar, if that counts. Last week, my son, after that, he wasn't obviously intentional, but he was playing with it.
What's Michael
not
doing?
Michael,
Smacking
and
you around with a
right
guitar.
in my nose, and it had a little bruise. It's still a little sore this morning. So I'm going to say that that's my version of that.
Okay.
It doesn't feel great.
No.
But people really do. There are so many people who need a fire under their butts. And again, I'm still working on it in some areas of my life, but it feels so freeing to just say what you mean. And to your point, I think there's a lot of people, I agree, that are not confident in their stance on something, right? So if they're too scared to be challenged on it, so therefore they don't even stick their neck out.
And the difference right now, if I can make a commentary on the political season we're in, is that it's the loony left that has no problem putting hateful things out there every day about Donald Trump. I was talking about this the other day with a Facebook friend of mine who I adore her personally, but she is absolutely swallowed the Kool-Aid and is crazy and has Trump derangement syndrome to the extreme. And I just want, I want to take her and hug her and tell her it's going to be okay. I survived Barack Obama. I survived Sleepy Joe Biden. You'll survive another term of Donald Trump. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of democracy. Put on your big girl pants and get over it. I don't care if you don't like his tweets. We need somebody in charge of this country and somebody world leaders are going to respect. But the left they have no problem putting that out there. But people who are going to vote for Trump are less likely to go on social media and defend him on their personal Facebook page.
Right, which is why I think that a lot of these polls are off and the support is underplayed for Trump, because I think there's a lot of people who are far too scared to put a sign in their front yard that says Trump.
Yeah.
They just are.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Be
and
bold.
That's a shame.
Speak out.
Be bold.
Be
Put
confident.
up a flag like I did.
Ruffle some feathers.
Up.
Respectfully ruffle some feathers.
I absolutely. It's a good point. Come on, people. Stand up. Wake up. Come on. All right, coming up in the next hour, we have Dinesh D'Souza. The Dinesh D'Souza is going to join us. He's got a new movie out based on a book he's written called Vindicating Trump. We're going to get him on here at about 6:35. We're back in just a minute.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
We just had a report of an accident out west, Highway 100 at 185, car versus deer. So just take care this morning. But really, for the most part, we look great. 44 looks great from out west into downtown. 55 is in good shape. We are quiet through North County and look good on the bridges downtown. It's a typical Friday morning with light volume at this hour, which is kind of always good news. This report is brought to you by GL International Realty. Planning to sell your home? Work with the very best. Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty will guarantee to sell your home at your price or she will buy it. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 547 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Yeah, so what is it you need heading into the winter, guys? I mean, I know, let's say the bulky clothes are coming out. You get to wear the pullovers and kind of hide that extra layer of fat that you might have put on here going to all the football pregame parties. But at Victory Men's Health, they can help you lose that. They've got medical science can help you lose it because they've got semaglutide that they can prescribe to you. They prescribe it for women as well. You go in, you get a blood test, you find out if you're a candidate for it, and it can help people shed up to 15% of their body weight. I love that they do that. That's part of what they do. They've got 4 great locations now. They deal with hormone optimization and weight loss and vitamin deficiencies and problems with your sexual health. The point is, men tend to put these things off. They tend to put themselves last, I think, in many cases when it comes to going to the doctor or just thinking they're going to be okay and not worrying about it. You need to worry about it. You need to go to Victory Men's Health where medical doctors are overseeing your care and they know how to make men feel the way they used to feel. It's easy. 4 great locations: O'Fallon, Illinois, O'Fallon, Missouri, Town and Country, and also their newest location in Sunset Hills. Go online to victorymenshealth.com. Marc Cox here. I have put together my 2024 general election voters guide with you in mind. The direction of our nation and our state is in your hands now. Visit 971talk.com to see the Marc Cox 2024 voter guide.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Zero Res, and it's time to get ready for the Halloween season by eliminating all that spooky dirt, grime, and gunk that's in your carpets. Don't ghost your carpet this fall. See what we did there? Halloween brings out the best in people, but also the scariest dirt from foot traffic. So let's use Zero Res to get everything clean with a great deal in the month of October. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery. Basically, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So it's time to call Zero Res. Right now, you can get your entire home Zero Resified from the best carpet cleaner in St. Louis and get 3 rooms cleaned starting at $129. $75 off your air duct cleaning this month when you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. Do not let a missed deal haunt you this month. Zero Res has a great rating, 4.9 on Google with over 5,800 reviews. Schedule your appointment today. Get the October special, 314 614-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
Rockin' the free world. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. The Marc Cox Morning Show, on the air and streaming at 971talk.com.
Well, I got to say, I am rather disappointed in one of my longtime idols here in St. Louis sports, and that is the Wizard of Oz. I like Ozzie Smith. I met him on a number of occasions. Oh, just the nicest guy in the world. But he took money to do this Amendment 2 ad, and I got to be honest with you, it's dishonest. The ad is dishonest. And it's not just me saying it, although I do point that out in my voter guide. It's the people that have fact-checked this amendment, including over at News Channel 5, have drawn the exact same conclusion, and yet over and over and over again, this ad is running ad nauseum, pun intended, so that they're trying to convince you that if you just let people vote, if you just vote to let people gamble on their phones, it's going to mean $100 million for our schools. Listen to this ad that's running.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers.
No, Ozzie. No, it doesn't.
And no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools. And legalizing sports betting.
It's just a lie. It's got the video of him doing the backflip and appearing on the turf down at Busch Stadium. Why? Because all the big sports teams want this to happen. And I'll say it again. I don't have anything against you being able to bet on your phone. I really don't. Just put it on the ballot and say, hey, let's legalize online gambling. Period. But don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. Here's it. I'm going to read this to you, not in my words, mind you, but in the words of KSDK. And this is credited to a reporter named Megan Lowe, from what I can see here. Missourians are heading to the polls this general election cycle to vote on Amendment 2, which will legalize sports betting on college and professional games in the state. Missouri would join 38 states that have done this, right? As Election Day draws closer, ad spending from both groups, for and against, has ramped up. Well, it's mostly the for crowd, trying to claim that it would generate tens of millions of dollars annually or $100 million over the next 5 years for schools in the state. They promise you that that's going to happen. So they went in and they looked at it. Does it guarantee millions of dollars in revenue for schools each year? And they gave it a big false red X. And here's why. Missouri Amendment 2 does not guarantee millions of dollars in revenue for schools each year. There's a wide range of how much money the amendment could bring, if any at all. It even says right in there it might raise from $0 to $28 million a year. And that's important. Ozzie Smith ought to be aware of that. I mean, I'm sure he got paid to do that commercial, but for God's sake, but you're deceiving your fans. That's what saddens me about it. And here's the reason. You can go get my voter guide if you want, because it's easy to find at 971talk.com, and it discusses the why here. But let me read it to you just in case you're not near a computer this morning. The truth is, schools may never receive a dime, and if they do, it could be years down the road. The gaming industry wrote this constitutional amendment, and boy, did they write it to their favor. They get to deduct taxes, government registration fees, gaming losses, up to 25% of the gross costs of promotional credits and free play, which they use to lure you in, investment costs, $5 million for gambling addiction that they have to set aside out of this every year, and just about everything else under the sun before they ever have to declare a profit. And only after they declare a profit will the schools maybe get a dime. The ballot language even says the school contribution could be $0, but that is in the fine print. So it may well pass, and they've done a good job deceiving people about it. But my goodness, Ozzy, come on. It is a bold-faced lie to go on TV and tell people it's guaranteed to bring $100 million to your school, because it's not, and it probably never will.
Channel 4 has been fact-checking all these political ads from the candidates. Why don't they fact-check something like Amendment 2?
I don't know. Channel 5 did, to their credit. And maybe 4 did, and I dismissed it.
Well, they're the ones who I've seen doing all the fact-checks of the candidates. So.
Channel 5 said that's a lie. It's false to say that, and I'm surprised Ozzy would go along with that. But his bread is buttered by the Cardinals, and they want it to pass. So just, take it for what it's worth, but you're going to hear the truth here. Coming up, we're going to talk more about the death of that Palestinian leader.
Hey, it's Marc Reardon from my friends at ThrottleNet, and you've probably heard George Rosenthal from ThrottleNet on the show. He's a technology whiz, and George and his team can educate you and your business on the dangers lurking with technology. Here's a unique opportunity along those lines. Does your company have a lunch and learn or guest speakers? For a limited time, ThrottleNet is providing free lunch and learns to provide cybersecurity awareness training. One click can cause a ton of damage to your business. ThrottleNet is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it does, they're the cybersecurity experts who can help. ThrottleNet is known for high customer satisfaction, averaging 99% happiness with over 35,000 surveys. They have an industry-leading response time of less than 2 minutes. And no clients of ThrottleNet have ever paid ransom as a result of a cyber attack. Contact ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971 and we can schedule your free company lunch. Don't miss out. Find out more today about ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. We are thrilled to announce that the Mid-America Carpenters Union is offering up to $10,000 cash to close to all McKelvey home buyers. Use these dollars for closing costs, upgrades, or buy down your interest rate. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to own a beautifully crafted home with McKelvey legendary quality. Act fast. This offer is first come, first serve. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today.
City 2 is in the postseason. Join us Sunday, October 20th at 2 p.m. for City 2 versus LAFC 2 to support City 2 in their playoff run. Only $13 with player meet and greets and fun activities for the whole family. Tickets on sale now at SeatGeek.com. Don't miss out and get your tickets now. This Sunday, October 20th at 2 p.m., City 2 takes on LAFC 2, and you won't want to miss out on the action. Tickets on sale now at SeatGeek.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Not many window companies do egress windows. Those are the ones used in basements or floors with no emergency exit. GHRcontracting.com. We offer same-day install and financing 0% for 18 months, and there's no hassle with price negotiation. Get an upfront quote on the phone. GHRcontracting.com.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Onder Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
He's still alive on Texas's death row. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, because just before Robert Roberson was going to get a lethal injection last night, the state Supreme Court blocked his execution.
He was shocked, to say the least. He praised God and he thanked his supporters.
Department of Criminal Justice spokesperson Amanda Fernandez. Those supporters questioned Roberson's guilt, including the lead investigator in the case, who says he was wrong and no longer believes Roberson murdered his 2-year-old child by shaking her in 2002. A group of state lawmakers in Texas, Republicans and Democrats, pushed for the case to be re-examined. The U.S. is urging Israel's prime minister end the war in Gaza to free the hostages after an Israeli military raid killed Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, the mastermind of the October 7th attack. But Benjamin Netanyahu says the war must go on, delivering this message to residents of Gaza. We hear in a translation.
Sinwar
ruined your lives. We told you he was a lion, but in reality, he hid in a dark tunnel, and he was killed when he ran away in fear from our soldiers.
President Biden is in Germany for talks with our NATO ally on further helping Ukraine battle Russia's invasion. In the race for the White House, some comedy.
Really a pleasure anywhere in New York without a subpoena for my appearance.
Former President Trump told several jokes, as is tradition at the Al Smith Catholic Charities dinner that most presidential candidates attend. Vice President Harris did not, instead campaigning in Wisconsin, but Harris did send in a video featuring Saturday Night Live alum Molly Shannon reprising her Catholic schoolgirl role.
Just so you know, there will be a fact checker there tonight. Oh, that's great. Who? Jesus. And maybe don't say anything negative about Catholics.
I would never do that, no matter where I was. That would be like criticizing Detroit in Detroit.
A jab at Trump's criticism of the city when campaigning there. America's listening to Fox News.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Good morning. Hope your Friday is off to a great start now at 6:03. It is 45 degrees. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. Some Missouri hospitals are delaying surgeries after hurricane damage caused a nationwide shortage on intravenous fluids. More than half of the nation's IV supplies come from a company out of North Carolina that was damaged by Hurricane Helene. Officials with SSM Health, BJC Mercy, and St. Luke's hospitals say at this point they're taking measures to conserve IV fluid instead of canceling surgeries, at least for now. In the Metro East, the Fairview Heights Longhorn Steakhouse that was forced to close following several cases of food poisoning is now approved to reopen. 26 people who had dined there between early and mid-October ended up getting sick with something called Shigella. Another 66 people reported symptoms consistent with that bacterial infection. The St. Clair County Health Department said inspectors have been to that restaurant, retrained employees. The restaurant also hired professional cleaners. The local Better Business Bureau is warning about buying off Facebook Marketplace after a Town and Country man was caught in the middle of a scam. Channel 4 reports people paid for an iPhone and were told to pick it up at the seller's mailbox. Turns out it was not the seller's house. It was this guy's house in Town and Country. Well, the seller ended up blocking those buyers on Facebook and pocketed the money. The BBB recommends seeing the item you're buying in person before handing over any money. It is 6:04 and 45 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Blues beat the Islanders 1-0 last night. They're at the Enterprise Center again tomorrow playing the Hurricanes at 6. Well, City SC plays the final match of the season on the road tomorrow against Minnesota at 8. Well, the Dodgers crushed the Mets 10-2 in Game 4 of the NLCS last night, playing again today at 4:08, and then Game 6 is Sunday. And this was an incredible game between the Guardians and the Yankees. Watch part of this. Of course, it goes into extra innings. Guardians end up getting a walk-off home run to end it. That final score, 7-5. Game 5, that's tonight at 7:08. Game 6 is tomorrow. Also tomorrow, Mizzou plays Auburn at 11. Illinois faces Michigan at 2:30. And then on Sunday, the Chiefs versus the 49ers at 3:25 on our sister station, Y98. 45 degrees now at 6:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. On the Illinois side, there's a report of an accident eastbound 70 at Route 4. Serious enough that it had closed down eastbound 70 in that area. On the Missouri side, we've had Some car versus deer accidents reported this morning, so just take care. Eastbound 44 still in decent shape as you head toward 270, and northbound 270 is in good shape at Manchester. Looking at the Cordell and Cordell domestic litigation firm cameras, we're in good shape eastbound 70 at 79, and 64 looks good from out west into downtown. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 6:06 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Tons of sunshine on this Friday, and though it's chilly right now out the door, it's a nice afternoon. Look for a high of 71. Tonight, clear skies, falling through the 60s for evening plans, 45 for the low the weekend. Top 10 weekend on the way. Saturday, sunny, chilly start, but a mild afternoon, 75. Sunday, chilly start, but sunny and 75 Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We're coming up on 6:07 here on this Friday morning, 45 degrees. All the news you need for your day is on the free Odyssey app. Download it now to listen to St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Listen to both sides. The bottom line is, I respect that. We don't agree.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Just to find a voice. Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
I don't know how to put this.
Marc Cox.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Well, it adds excitement, doesn't it, folks?
All right, welcome back in. Happy Friday to you. It's a little tad bit warmer outside this morning than it was yesterday, and it's a noticeable difference. I mean, being in the mid-30s compared to 40 is a difference.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I didn't see any frost where I was this morning, but good luck with it. I think we're going to have a gorgeous weekend. Hopefully you got some plans to get outside. My tentative plans are to go to the St. Louis Bourbon Festival tonight, which is down around the Lemp Mansion. That's a great time. I'm pretty sure there are probably still tickets available, but I'll give you more details on that here coming up. I think it's like stlouisbourbonfestival.com if you go there and check it out. And they've got 400 different whiskeys and bourbons you can try there, and food trucks, and it's a great time. But you got to buy a ticket to get in, and then everything's paid for once you're there, and you can sample all these different bourbons. Should be pretty good. Should be a good time, and the weather should be just perfect for it, right? A little light jacket, and you should be good to go. So hopefully you got big plans over the course of the weekend. It's just a homecoming for my daughter, so I get to go out and take pictures of her and her friends.
So do they still do
her
that?
Date.
Were they? Because I remember in high school you'd get the limo and you'd get the corsage and the boutonniere, and you'd all line up on the stairs and take all the pictures, kind of awkwardly posing with this guy that you're really not even dating.
I grew up in a middle class household, and we couldn't afford a limo. Where did you grow up? Was your mom and dad a college professor or something?
I was working at McDonald's at the time.
Nice. No, they're not getting a limo. I guess you could. I don't ever remember doing that in high school. I know it became a thing there for a while. It's not cheap. My buddy Smitty runs basically a limo service. I don't think he owns a limo like you're thinking of, but like buses and stuff like that.
You know what I have seen as a trend is these girls wearing these really nice dresses, and then they wear tennis shoes. And that's a trend in general where, and I've done that, not like a fancy homecoming dress, but a dress and cute tennis shoes. But I'm like, where was that when I was in high school when we had to trek around in our high heels trying to dance like that? I'd like to wear tennis shoes.
Yeah, a little comfort there. The guys had to squeeze their feet into those patent leather, those fake leather shoes, and be miserable for 2 hours until they could get them off. I hated those things. Was it as bad
as high heels, though?
No, it wasn't.
I mean, I still do feel bad because that probably would hurt your feet, but I don't feel that bad.
Yeah. I ran across one of my prom pictures the other day, and I was wearing a white tuxedo.
Nice.
With blue ruffled shirt.
And
it was bad. It was like
you gotta bring that I was going to say, can you post that?
Early 80s kind of thing. I don't even know where the picture is now, but early 80s kind of thing.
That's great.
Yeah, it was rough.
Times have definitely changed.
Posing outside of my Firebird which we drove to the homecoming or prom.
So you were able
might
to
have been prom.
So you
Probably
were able to
prom.
afford that car despite being raised in a middle class family.
It was used. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I was working at McDonald's to pay for the gas. We're going to get to a more serious subject here in a couple of minutes because I don't know if you heard this or not, but one of the Hamas terror leaders, the guy, this Yahya Sinwar, was killed in Gaza, and we're going to talk to a retired major general about what he thinks that means, what the implications of it are, whether, as some people are speculating, it could lead to an end to the conflict. I kind of doubt that because these people are terrorists, and they're pretty committed to what it is they're doing, which is why Israel needs to continue taking care of business. But we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. First, though, let's get to the top stories.
The Marc Cox Short List.
At the end of the day, I'm Trump because I my eyes open. I can see that he was doing a lot better than what we're going through right now.
Yeah, that is a barber up in Detroit, Michigan. Detroit is one of those areas, I think, where they had more people vote in the last election than they had registered voters. That guy, though, is voting for Trump this time, and Kamala Harris just can't figure out why black men aren't supporting her.
We do begin this hour with breaking news. Right now, Israel trying to determine if its forces have indeed killed the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar.
Yeah. What a name. But he's now departed the earth. They've confirmed it. We'll get to Major General retired Bob Dees coming up here in a minute.
I think Zelensky's one of the greatest salesmen I've ever seen. Every time he comes in, we give him $100 billion.
Yeah, great salesman, according to Donald Trump. There's a lot of blame to go around for what happened in Ukraine. Trump was laying some of that out yesterday.
And what did Trump say last night about January 6th? He called it a day of love. The American people are exhausted with his gaslighting.
You know where I stand on this. Kamala Harris and the Democrats created the big lie that January 6th was an insurrection. It was not an insurrection. Note to self, you cannot take over a country if you're unarmed. As Joe Biden has pointed out many times, you'll need more than your AR-15 because we have F-16s and F-18s and stealth bombers, and you better get you one of those, right? But for her to continue, I mean, she is just yammering on about these complete, everything Trump says is blown out of proportion. Everything. I was there on January 6th. I traveled there for this radio station. I know you've heard me talk about this before, but the mood was joyful. The hundreds of thousands of people who crowded around the Lincoln Memorial to listen to the president's speech this morning are not the people that were already down at the Capitol breaking in. We don't claim those people. I don't know those people. And the Secret Service and the federal law enforcement knew 5 or 10 days in advance that that's what they intended to do. The documentary that Kim and I talked about a couple weeks ago, we interviewed the guy that did it.
Yeah, what was that called? I forget.
Well, I'll think of it in a minute. But the point is, he presented this as some sort of a non-biased, non-partisan look at what happened. But what he did was, from the time the election happened, he followed the people who were claiming that the election was fraudulent, right? And particularly some of these groups like the Proud Boys and others that I don't know anything about, but who were making claims that they were going to get violent if necessary. So he focused on those groups. And this documentary is about those groups leading up to and including January 6th. It didn't at all focus on the 250,000 other people who were in Washington that day who didn't go there for that reason. And if this filmmaker, this documentary filmmaker knew what these guys were doing, you can damn well bet the FBI knew what they were doing. They had informants in the crowd. They knew exactly what their intention was. Nancy Pelosi made the decision not to reinforce the Capitol Police that day because they wanted to allow it to play out so they could use it against Donald Trump. Plain and simple. But that doesn't deny the fact that the other 250,000 people who were there because they loved Donald Trump and didn't believe the election was fair. And you're allowed to have that opinion in this country. Whether you like it or not, people are allowed to have that opinion. And this and the comment about Donald Trump wanting to use the military against American people who disagree with him, I've heard it ad nauseum. It's sickening. I've got the actual audio. I'm going to play it for you again this morning, and you can listen to it in context. That's never what he said. And Nancy Pelosi is the one that occupied Washington, D.C. with National Guard troops for weeks after January 6th. For weeks, she used the military supposedly to defend the Capitol. But the Capitol was never under threat. So what's the real message there? It was a message to the American people, is what it was, that you won't take power from us. That's what the message was. So the left uses this selectively, and we're going to call them out on it when they do it. All right, coming up, we're going to talk more about the death of this Hamas leader with Major General Bob Dees. He's retired now, but he served a lot of years, 31 years in the U.S. Army. We'll get his thoughts on the impact this might have.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Tell them it's going to be a rock and roll weekend.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. Yeah, we look good on the roads at this hour. Eastbound 70 looks great out west into downtown. We had a couple of car versus deer accidents reported out along 44, so take care through there this morning. On the Illinois side, there was a report of an accident eastbound 70 at Route 4, so be careful through there. There were lane closures involved. But if you are headed in from Illinois, looking at the Cordell and Cordell domestic litigation firm traffic cameras, we look great on the bridges downtown. Really light volume through there. And 55 is a good run. We've got multiple construction zones down in the Peevely area and in the city, and traffic is moving well through both of those. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 617 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You know, I just had this conversation with a friend yesterday afternoon who is about to have that conversation with a loved one who's having some sight issues and needs extra help. And where do you get that, right? You find it either by having somebody come into your home or by moving your loved one to a senior living community. People have misconceptions about what that means. You shouldn't. And when you make that decision or you're trying to talk to your loved one about it, take them and let them visit a place like Hampton Manor or Wentzville. It will change their perception of what senior living is all about. They have active lifestyles. They go on outings. They get help if they need it. But if not, they are pretty much living independently in their rooms. They can play cards. They can go see movies in the theater. They can go to the spa, which is right on site, and get their hair done if they want. It's all right there. And the staff couldn't be any better, and the owner insists on it. So if you're taking a tour, include Hampton Manor, Wentzville in that tour. They're at the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. Tell them you heard me talking about it, Marc Cox, and they will feed you lunch while you're there from their personal chef. WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
This is a special alert to anyone owing the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or with unfiled tax returns. Write this number down, 800-373-0322. The IRS has ended COVID forgiveness and they are cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to hear about our tax debt reduction programs. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or already in a payment plan, we still can help you. You may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a mere fraction of what you owe or for other resolution programs. Tax Relief Helpers has tax agents available now for a free consultation. TRH has already helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning them an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. If you or your business owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands to the IRS, you don't have to be afraid anymore. Call our relief hotline now to see what savings you may qualify for at 800-373-0322. 800-373-0322. Once again, that's 800-373-0322.
The man is on a roll. You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. The Marc Cox Morning Show, on the air and streaming at 971talk.com.
You're live in the CNN newsroom. I'm Jim Acosta in Washington. We do begin this hour with breaking news. Right now, Israel trying to determine if its forces have indeed killed the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar. Two Israeli sources telling CNN that forces engaged 3 militants near a building in Gaza and killed all 3. The troops then found the man resembling Sinwar and alerted senior commanders. Sources telling CNN that DNA testing is underway at this point. If confirmed, Sinwar's death would have massive implications on the region, the Israel-Hamas war, of course, and the hostages still being held.
Yeah, that was yesterday. It's been confirmed that they got Yahya Sinwar, who is the mastermind of what happened on October 7th. We just talked about the anniversary of that earlier this month, and the fact that in many ways the United States is pressuring Israel to change its response to this. And here, if they had done that, they wouldn't have gotten this guy. I don't know, but we wanted the opinion of somebody who served in the military at a high level and what impact this might have. We've got retired Major General Bob Dees with us, currently serving as for the National Center for Healthy Veterans in rural Virginia. And General, welcome in, sir. How are you?
Well, good to be with you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. What was your reaction when you heard this?
Well, I was happy about it, optimistic. It's a good step forward. It's not the end, but it's probably the beginning of the end of Hamas. We've cut the head off the serpent, so to speak, and he was a bad guy. He wasn't called the butcher of Khan Yunis by accident. He was certainly the architect of October 7th. So it's a good thing. It's a good day.
Well, I saw recently, and I showed this to a friend of mine yesterday who we were talking about this, and it was a meme that showed a young Hezbollah recruit who can't believe he's already been made regional manager. It seems that the joke being that every time you cut off the head, another one seems to pop up. Why should we believe that there isn't somebody else ready to take over for this guy who's just as bad?
Well, that is probably happening, but they may not be as bad or as good as that person was. Good operationally, not as a person. He had been in Israeli prison for 22 years. It was deeply galvanized his hatred of the Israelis, and so he spent his whole adult life trying to kill Israelis in various ways. It's not an accident that there's a whole wall of a building in Iran that is dedicated to him. He's a rock star there because he's been so effective in persecuting Israelis over the years.
Wow.
Whoops, sorry about that. I feel like it's going to take the Palestinians rebelling against them. And I understand that it's the, David and Goliath story, I guess, with Hamas, but it seems like that's what it will ultimately take for them to no longer be in power. What do you think?
Well, I agree with you. No, I totally agree. I think it's a moment in time where Hamas is weaker than ever before, perhaps in their history, and it would be a time for the Palestinian people to revolt. I've been curious all along about why they would choose Hamas leadership to represent the Palestinian Authority in so many ways. It's just ironic that they choose somebody that continually persecutes them. I think the real hostages over this time have been the Palestinian people.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Talking to retired Major General Bob Dees, who served 31 years in the United States Army. Now that you're retired, looking at it, are you willing to give your opinion on U.S. foreign policy? And I recently heard this week that they basically threatened to withhold certain support from Israel if they didn't change their approach to what's going on in Gaza. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that strength deters aggressiveness on the part of our adversaries. I think weakness invites adventurism. That's what's happening. I think for the U.S. to sound an uncertain trumpet about Israel, one day they say we're fully in support, and the next day they say we're going to embargo, is ludicrous and fickle. And I don't think that's. You just look at the outcomes, frankly. Administration before Joe Biden's administration was able to deter. It was a peaceful scenario in the Middle East, and now there's forest fires going on everywhere in the Middle East. And that's a result, I think, of the Biden administration appeasement, and to also earlier with the Obama administration and the appeasement of Iran as a nuclear power.
Well, General, thank you for all you do there at the Center for Healthy Veterans. I direct people to healthyveterans.org to find out more about your mission statement and helping those veterans navigate the challenges of trauma and transition. And we appreciate your service, sir. Thank you.
You bet, Mark. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to get him on this morning. And, yeah, I mean, he sees it. He's a retired 31-year Major General in the Army.
Yeah.
Peace through strength.
Well, and you know what? I found an Arab American, I think it's a newspaper that has historically for decades endorsed Democrats, not endorsing Kamala. They don't like how this administration has handled everything over there.
Wow.
They try to toe the line.
Wow. Yeah, but it's more and more evidence of that for sure. Coming up, we're going to talk to Dinesh D'Souza. Love 2,000 Mules. I got to tell you, if you didn't see it. He's also the author of a new movie called Vindicating Trump. We got him right after the break.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
I tell you what, I had an opportunity recently to take a little bit of a trip and had to take some bourbon along with me, and they said, bring your good stuff. So what I brought was a bottle of this Four Roses single barrel. Boy, is that good. If you love bourbon and you have not tried Four Roses, there's a couple of great things to know, right? Four Roses is always available. It's not like you're chasing an allocation. The way they make their bourbon at Four Roses is consistent. They've been doing it the same way for 50 years, and you know what you're getting, and I love it. And that single barrel speaks for itself. They won all kinds of awards with it. The World Whiskey Awards in 2024. The single barrel was awarded the best single barrel whiskey in the world for 2024. And I'm not making this stuff up. Go try to find yourself some. And right now, there's some great prices at the local grocery stores. Go find it. Ask for it by name. Four Roses Bourbon.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Tons of sunshine on this Friday, and though it's chilly right now out the door, it's a nice afternoon. Look for a high of 71. Tonight, clear skies, falling through the 60s for evening plans, 45 for the low. The weekend, top 10 weekend on the way. Saturday, sunny, chilly start, but a mild afternoon, 75. Sunday, chilly start, but sunny and 75 Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It is 6:30 and 45 degrees. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. AT&T says it's reassigning employees from its location in Earth City to its building downtown. The company hasn't said how many employees are moving and adds that this will not result in a reduction in staff. AT&T released a statement saying, in part, we're always looking to streamline and optimize our business to improve efficiency and help our employees connect better. Construction of a new high school in Cahokia Heights is getting some pushback from protesters claiming minority contractors have been overlooked for work. There's a groundbreaking today for that new high school. The district superintendent says the $80 million contract was simply offered to the company with the lowest bid. In sports, the Blues beat the Islanders 1-0 last night. They're back at the Enterprise Center again tomorrow, playing the Hurricanes at 6. City SC plays its final match of the season on the road tomorrow against Minnesota at 8. Mizzou plays Auburn tomorrow at 11. Illinois faces Michigan at 2:30. And then the Chiefs take on the 49ers Sunday at 3:25. I'm Kim St. Ange, now 6:31 and 45 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Pretty good on the roads at this hour. We're still quiet out there. It's kind of typical of a Friday morning. Looking good on westbound 270 through North County. And no delays yet eastbound 70 from out west into the city. 6440 is in good shape, 44. Northbound 270 looks good at Manchester. That's how you know things are in good shape. No problems on northbound 55 at this hour. If you are headed in from Illinois, we still look good on the bridges downtown. And yet, we are off to a good start here this morning. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 632 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
All right, time for me to tell you about the great folks out at the Range St. Louis West. Love going out there, love being a member at the Range because you're treated like family, whether you're a member or not. I mean, I've known these folks for years, known John, the veteran, the owner of the Range. This is a family-run operation. It's a veteran-owned operation. There's a reason why they got the coveted 5-star designation from the National Shooting Sports Foundation. That's rare air. Not many people get that. I think they're one of only they're one of only 2 in the entire state of Missouri, and St. Louis County's only 5-star range. Go check them out for training, for all of it. They got a great event coming up on Friday, October 25th. Next Friday, Black Guns Matter at the Range. They're going to have Maj Touré come in. He's going to give a speech on firearm safety and storage and gun handling and a lot of the politics that surround the Second Amendment. It's going to be fantastic. We had him as a guest on Second Amendment Radio and the Great Outdoors recently. You can go to this for free. They just want you to go on there and sign up so they know who all's coming. Visit therangestl.com.
You can help those affected by this disastrous hurricane season by visiting redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS. Message and data rates apply. Together, we can help those who've been affected. Thanks for helping. Conservatives Care on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high? Or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with TrueHold Sell and Stay. You can literally sell now and move when you're ready. When you sell your home to TrueHold, you can cash out your home's equity quickly and easily, and you can stay in your home with a flexible standard lease. TrueHold pays property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs too. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a no-obligation offer now while home values are sky high. You could use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's equity without moving. That's TrueHold.com. Terms and conditions apply. See website for more details.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of 3, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Get your daily dose of common sense. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Follow Marc on Twitter at MarcCox971.
Why do you think more people say they trust him on the economy than they trust you?
I think that when you look at an analysis of our plans for what we would do as President of the United States, it has been clear to those who study and understand how economic policy works that moving forward, because I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward, and they want a president who has a plan for the future.
Does anybody know her plan, just out of interest? That obviously was part of her interview with Brett Baer, but it feeds into the constant narrative by Kamala Harris and any of her surrogates who speak out that Donald Trump is somehow a tyrant and is going to take over and act completely different than he did the first 4 years that he was in office. I mean, it's really kind of ridiculous. Happy to invite author and, of course, movie maker Dinesh D'Souza here on the show with us this morning. Dinesh, welcome back.
Hey, great to be back. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. You've got a new movie and book out there called Vindicating Trump, and I love the cover of it. It's that picture of the president with his fist raised at the rally where he got shot. But my guess is the book was in the works before that.
You know, I do the book and the movie together. It's kind of my 1-2 punch. The book lays out a systematic argument with references, makes the case for Trump. The movie is a kind of a wonderful cinematic journey, and the centerpiece of the film is a riveting kind of one-on-one conversation with Trump. And the website, by the way, to get DVDs or stream the movie is just vindicatingtrump.com.
I love that. The rhetoric has not toned down at all. I mean, we're not in uncharted waters because I know we've had assassination attempts before, but the mainstream media now acts like the assassination attempts didn't even happen, and people like Kamala Harris and Tim Walz go out every day and compare Donald Trump basically to a tyrant like Hitler, and they get away with it.
Yes. I mean, the remarkable thing is we've seen assassination attempts against presidents and former presidents in the past. There were successful attempts against Lincoln and JFK. There was an unsuccessful attempt, for example, against Teddy Roosevelt. I know of no case where an assassination attempt was preceded by years of systematic vilification to such a degree that a normal person, and in fact, certainly a kook, but perhaps even a normal person would think, you know what? If this guy were eliminated from the scene, the country and the world would be better. That would be nothing more than a logical inference from the kinds of things that Kamala Harris has been saying, Tim Walz, Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and many others.
You know, one of the number one questions I hear Trump still getting asked in these interviews is asking about what happened January 6th and if he wants to take the blame for that. And then, of course, whenever J.D. Vance is interviewed, they're asking him, would you certify this? Do you think that he lost that election? It's funny how the media is so focused on the past. It's like they cannot let that go.
Well, they're exploiting an ambiguity because it's quite possible for legal challenges to fail and Trump exit the White House. That's what happened in 2020, early 2021, and Trump still to believe reasonably that the election was stolen. But the media acts like if you concede one, the first part, you have to deny that there was anything wrong with the election. This was somehow the most secure election in history. So it's simply preposterous. With regard to January 6th, one of the questions I posed to Trump, and you can see the kind of surprise and also genuine interest in his eyes, is I said, listen, they keep saying you called for an insurrection. And I say, as far as I can see, you didn't do that. You didn't say to anybody, go inside the Capitol, take over the place, stop the count. But I said, but you know what? Had you called for one, there would have been one, a real one. And there would be one if you called for one now. So what that tells me is that you have a certain kind of power that is almost unique in American politics. I mean, if Kamala Harris called for an insurrection, it would be a public joke. No one would really show up. So I asked Trump, what is it like to have that kind of power, and what do you intend to do with it? And his answer is very illuminating.
Well, looking forward to that. It's called Vindicating Trump, and you can go to the website and check it out. We'll give you that web address here again in a minute. Dinesh, I watched your documentary, 2,000 Mules. I've talked a lot to Hans von Spakovsky and others about election integrity this time around. How do you feel that's going to go? Because we in many cases, we've done away with drop boxes, not in every case, and we're requiring voter ID in more and more situations. But is there any reason to believe that the Democrats couldn't try to pull the same tricks they pulled in 2020?
In my opinion, the landscape is much better. There have been some legislative improvements, some improvements in rules, some good court decisions. I also think the simple impact of 2,000 mules is very important because when you bust a scheme, it's very difficult to keep doing it. Yeah. If mules start showing up in the middle of the night with backpacks full of ballots, there are going to be some patriots looking for that, waiting for them. So I think that the Democrats, if they cheat, are going to have to figure out a new way. But I've been looking at all these betting averages, Polymarket and other places, which show Trump kind of pulling away from Harris, and not to mention the fact that the Republicans have a decent chance to get the House and the Senate. So this is when kind of desperation begins to set in the final stretch. It's like a cornered animal is always dangerous. And so I think we should be vigilant because the Democrats might be looking for what they can do to try to change the odds at this point.
Well, and I think it was like record early voting numbers so far in Georgia and I think a couple other states. So, and that was heavy Republican areas. So for me, that's very encouraging because I think there's kind of been this pattern of where conservatives don't want to vote early. And I think we've seen what can happen and what they could possibly try to pull. So we're thinking we got to make sure our vote counts and we get out there to actually cast a ballot.
Yes, it's not merely the disruptions that can somehow turn up on Election Day, as happened in Maricopa County in 2022. It's also that when you bank your vote early, the campaign can focus on the undecided voters and getting them out at the last minute. So for these reasons, I'm really delighted to see that Republican behavior has changed over the last 4 years.
Dinesh D'Souza, our guest, of course, a filmmaker, author, and I want to go back to 2,000 Mules for a minute. I need to get your reaction to this because I've had this conversation with people. You had video of drop boxes of people going there in the middle of the night with handfuls of ballots, wearing rubber gloves so there wouldn't be any fingerprints on their hands, and dumping these ballots in the middle of the night. To my knowledge, not a single investigative agency, not a sheriff, not a police, not a Fed, nobody has ever investigated any of that when it was a clear violation of the law. Am I right on that?
You are right, and it is a kind of national scandal. Now, I'm not terribly surprised that since the fraud was going on in heavily Democratic areas where you have Democratic power structures, that the Democrats in charge were not overly eager to investigate. However, the really appalling thing is that even Republicans, some mainstream Republicans who could have put pressure for this to happen, were scared of the issue of election fraud, were worried about being called election deniers, were a little intimidated by the media, and therefore kept a sort of prudent silence when it came to the 2,000 Mules. All we said is, hey, interview the mules. Let's hear if they have some great explanation for why they're going in the middle of the night from drop box to drop box. Maybe they were doing something very lawful and we never thought about it. I don't think so, but that was never done, and you are quite right about that.
Wow, it's pretty eye-opening. Well, we appreciate your continued work on this. We'll direct people to vindicatingtrump.com where they can go and check out. They can watch the movie, I believe, if they can stream it on what, Rumble? Is that correct?
It's streaming on Rumble, on another platform called Salem Now, also on Locals. It's all very easy. The links are all on the website. Essentially, you just click and you can watch.
Yeah, or you can buy the DVD, whatever is easier for you. Dinesh D'Souza, it's always great having you on. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. Author Dinesh D'Souza, great to get him on here this morning. And I continue to be stunned by, after watching 2,000 Mules, the fact that nobody thought it would be a good idea to take that piece of security video, try to figure out who the individual was, and go interview them about why you had a bag full of ballots that you were stuffing in a box
in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the
Right.
night with rubber gloves on that you then peeled off and threw in the trash can next to it.
Don't you think any remaining drop boxes, there's, to his point, there's going to be some conservative who's standing out there? Like, I just see things are going to play out much differently this
Boy,
time.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. Wow. Coming up, we're going to get to In Other News in just a couple minutes here. Next hour, we're going to talk to our friend Elizabeth Pipke. She is with the RNC. I want to get her reaction to these continued lies by Kamala Harris, by Tim Walz, by all of them, that somehow Donald Trump is going to take over and turn the U.S. military against his enemies. It's the silliest thing I've ever heard, but they keep repeating it in their talking points. And we're going to talk to Elizabeth about that coming up here at about 7:20 this morning. Stay tuned.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
We are really having a good commute this morning, typical of a Friday morning, and things look great. Light traffic out there through North County. Eastbound 70 is a good run. 6440 looks good out west into downtown. We look fine on northbound 55 at this hour, despite the multiple construction zones. Now, there's a little bit of moderate volume that kind of comes and goes westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge, just passing Route 3 and across the bridge itself. But for the most part, we really do look good. This report brought to you by GHR Contracting. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 647 and 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Not many window companies do egress windows. Those are the ones used in basements or floors with no emergency exit. GHRcontracting.com. We offer same-day install and financing 0% for 18 months, and there's no hassle with price negotiation. Get an upfront quote on the phone. GHRcontracting.com.
All right, when is the last time you bought or sold a house? For me, it was almost 25 years. November of 1999 is when we moved into our previous home and lived there for a long time and accumulated a lot of crap in the basement. And the thought of moving terrified me. We've done it now. We've gone through it. And boy, am I glad we had Gloria Liu there with us from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. We found our next home. We were able to secure it as ours, and we had a closing date. So we needed to sell our home rapidly. And what peace of mind it is when you have somebody like Gloria who has a Your Home Sold Guaranteed program that she can explain to you, where she agrees on a price with you. If your home doesn't sell for that, she'll buy it from you. That's peace of mind. Or she's got a lot of buyers looking probably in your neighborhood, and she can tell you exactly what the market is doing right now at your price point. Reach out to her at 314-325-6888. Tell her you heard Marc Cox bragging about working with her, and you'd like her to come over and talk to you. You can also go to her website. It's gloriahasthebuyers.com.
The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood, do you think that the United States and also the world understands the gravity of what took place in Israel on October 7th?
No. Weekdays from noon to 3.
Attention Missouri Medicaid members. If you need assistance with daily living, you can receive a free service from Freedom Care in your own home from a loved one. With Freedom Care, you decide who provides your daily care with help preparing meals, bathing, laundry, transportation, and more. A family member or friend that gets paid instantly after every shift. It's all funded by Medicaid and 100% free to you. Call now to check your eligibility. New to Medicaid, the Freedom Care family will guide you through enrollment, making it stress-free for patients and caregivers. With over 5,000 five-star Google reviews, we've perfected at-home care for Medicaid members and caregivers. This service is free to you through Medicaid, and with our InstaPay app, caregivers are paid instantly. So go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915. 314-557-7915.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
Locked and loaded. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Follow Marc on Twitter at MarcCox971.
I worry about nothing. I am wearing a nada.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
Meta, which of course is the parent company of Facebook, fired around 24 employees recently for misusing company meal credits for things like laundry detergent, wine glasses, and acne treatment pads. So here's how
they get meal credits?
They get meal credits. So many of the company's offices around the country, they have what they call upscale food course. Everything is free for the employees. So if you work in a smaller office that doesn't have that option, what they do is they give them meal vouchers, $20 for breakfast and then $25 each for lunch and dinner.
Wow.
They did this investigation that found that some of these employees, instead of using it for meals at their desk like they're supposed to, they instead were using it for some of the items like I mentioned, laundry detergent, wine glasses, and they'd also have the food delivered to their home while they weren't on the job. So they were fired.
Good. That's good. I'm amazed by that. I mean, a lot of people sell their food stamp card that they get charged up at the beginning of every month. We tried to do a story on it one time with Channel 4, and they were lined up at midnight around a convenience store over on the east side where it was known that the owner would give them half of whatever the card was worth and take the other half as profit. I assume that guy ever got busted for that. I don't know, but it's pretty amazing.
I would like to have a $20 meal voucher every single day. My gosh.
Do you remember when Twitter switched over and Elon Musk bought Twitter?
Yeah.
And they showed like the office, they showed all the food they get?
No, but I'm sure it was really fancy.
I can see why it's $20.
Did he put an end to all that?
I don't know.
I hope. I hope.
All right. Disney parks are adding a new top-tier line skipping upgrade. It's going to cost you up to $449 per person. That, of course, is on top of what you're paying to get into the park.
Hello.
This Lightning Lane Premier Pass pilot program will begin next Wednesday at Disneyland and Disney World, and it's going to be the only way that you can show up without having to specify a time and then be able to skip the line.
We got to get Annie Fry's thoughts on that because she's the big Disney fan around here. Well, Middleman is too.
Yeah.
I think his daughter's working there right now, right? Is he doing an internship or something?
Is that really worth it? Even the other pass you can get to skip the line?
Oh, hell no. You would just have to be filthy rich because if you had a family of 4, you're spending what?
$1,200. No, $1,600.
$1,600 to just skip the line and walk past people who are going to stare at you if stares could kill. Could you imagine walking past these sweaty SOBs that have been standing in this line for an hour?
Well, I guess
and you
Kamala
waltz right up
couldn't
to
go.
the front?
She was raised in a middle-class family. I don't know how she would afford that,
She could sell that belt she was wearing the other day for $12,000 or $13,000, and she could afford to do it.
Those earrings that she has on every time she does an
Yeah.
interview.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the annual Victoria's Secret fashion show made history Tuesday. Not for the reason you might be guessing. It's because it showcased its first transgender models. One of the men came out wearing a sparkling black bikini and heels. The other guy was wearing the classic white angel wings and a two-piece bathing suit. A spokesperson for Victoria's Secret said that we'll deliver precisely what our customers have been asking for: the glamour, runway fashion, fun, wings, entertainment, all through a powerful modern lens reflecting who we are today.
Oh, for God's sake. Who's asking for that?
That's what the men want, to
Who
see
is
other men in
asking for that?
bikinis.
I don't believe anybody's asking for that.
Yeah, you know when you say maybe not for the reasons you expect, that's actually exactly what I expected.
Yeah, that's where things were going.
You can't. No, you can't. You can't do that. I don't buy that for a minute. Come on.
Tyra Banks made her return to modeling at that show.
Yeah, but she's a woman.
Well,
I didn't
and
know
I don't
she
need
had
to be a
retired.
Supreme Court justice
Her
or a
and her
biologist to
five-head.
tell you that.
Well, really, what is a woman? You're not a biologist, Mark. Don't act like you have any way to say that. All right, a new study by Class Central reveals that Gen Z is more interested in creative, social media-driven careers like being an influencer, artist, or model than the traditional roles like teacher, doctor, or lawyer. So they
Because you can be lazy. That's why.
Well, they base this on Instagram hashtags, and they found that model was supposedly the top choice for all of these people, followed by artist, photographer, makeup artist, and blogger. Marketing, singer, and personal trainer also ranked pretty high. The traditional careers like doctor, that ranked 25th. Lawyer ranked 34th.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
We're doomed.
influencers, if they're successful, can make millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I blame the Kardashians for that problem.
That's
Honestly,
true.
because very few
That's-
people ever achieve that, but that's what they think.
These influencers show these outfits, and I'll admit I follow some of them, and I'm like, how are you affording? I mean, I know how they're affording it, but it's insane. Think if social media like Instagram ever shut down, their job is donezo.
I got an idea. Go back to school and get an engineering degree and then make some money and then call me later. All right, coming up, we'll talk more about the Harris claims
Rhino
against
Shield
Donald
is
Trump.
far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. We've negotiated over $5 billion in settlements. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. We've won millions for victims of truck accidents, drunk driving crashes, and workers' compensation. Call Onder Law, 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9, all zeros.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose, paid for by Bayer.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
He's meeting with a NATO ally. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Biden's in Germany.
Today, the Chancellor and I are going to discuss ongoing efforts to surge support to Ukraine's military.
This as South Korea confirms what Ukraine's president is also saying. The North Korea is going to send thousands of troops to join Russian forces battling inside Ukraine. The president also just commented on Israel killing Hamas's leader Yahya Sinwar, a mastermind of the October 7th terror attack that triggered the war in Gaza. Fox's Jackie Heinrichs in Berlin.
We just heard the president talk about the death of Sinwar really for the first time in depth because the confirmation of it happened while Air Force One was in the air en route to Berlin.
The death of the leader of Hamas represents a moment of justice. He had the blood of Americans and Israelis, Palestinians and Germans and so many others on his hands.
The president's calling for a path to peace to get the remaining hostages free. But in a statement, a senior Hamas leader says Sinwar's killing will only make them stronger as another Iran-backed group, Hezbollah, vows to escalate its fight against Israel from Lebanon. Former President Trump is about to go on TV on the Fox News channel this morning after he got some laughs last night in New York.
I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening. So here it goes. Nope. I've got nothing.
That was at the Al Smith Catholic Charities dinner. Presidential candidates traditionally go, but Vice President Harris was instead campaigning in Wisconsin. She sent a video with Saturday Night Live alum Molly Shannon reprising her Catholic schoolgirl role.
Does it bother you that Trump guy insults you all the time? Because it really bothers my friends and me.
Oh, Mary Catherine, it's very important to always remember you should never let anyone tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
A death row inmate is still alive in Texas after the state Supreme Court blocked Robert Roberson's execution just before a lethal injection last night amid growing skepticism he's guilty of murdering his child. America's listening to Fox News.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We made it to Friday, 45 degrees now at 7:03. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. Some Missouri hospitals are delaying surgeries after hurricane damage caused a nationwide shortage on intravenous fluids. More than half of the nation's IV supplies come from a company out of North Carolina that was damaged by Hurricane Helene. Officials with SSM Health, BJC, Mercy, and St. Luke's Hospital say at this point they're just taking measures to try to conserve IV fluids they already have instead of having to cancel any surgeries. In the Metro East, the Fairview Heights Longhorn Steakhouse that was forced to close following several cases of food poisoning is now approved to reopen. 26 people who dined there between early and mid-October tested positive for Shigella. Another 66 reported symptoms consistent with that bacterial infection. The St. Clair County Health Department said inspectors have since been there at the restaurant and even retrained employees. The restaurant also hired professional cleaners. The local Better Business Bureau is warning about buying off Facebook Marketplace after a Town and Country man was caught in the middle of a scam. Channel 4 reports people paid for an iPhone and were told to pick it up at the seller's mailbox. Well, turns out it was not the seller's house. It was, of course, this man living in Town and Country. What the seller did is ended up blocking those buyers on Facebook and pocketed the money. The BBB recommends seeing the item you're buying in person before handing over any money. It is 7:04 and 45 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Blues beat the Islanders 1-0 last night. They're back at the Enterprise Center tomorrow playing the Hurricanes at 6. City SC plays the final match of the season on the road tomorrow against Minnesota at 8. You can listen on our sister station, Y98. Well, the Dodgers crushed the Mets 10-2 in Game 4 of the NLCS last night. They play again today at 4:08, and then Game 6 is Sunday. What a game between the Guardians and the Yankees. I watched part of this. It goes into extra innings, and then here's how it ends. The Guardians walk-off home run. This was incredible. The final score was 7-5. Game 5, that's tonight at 7:08. Game 6 is tomorrow. Also tomorrow, Mizzou plays Auburn at 11. Illinois faces Michigan at 2:30. And then on Sunday, it's the Chiefs and the 49ers at 3:25. 45 degrees now at 7:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, we look good. If you are traveling on eastbound 6455 in from Illinois, things look great on the bridges downtown on the Poplar Street Bridge. Northbound 55 is a great run on the Missouri side. So is eastbound 70, 64, 40, and 44. If you happen to be traveling through North County, things look good there as well. I did see an accident on northbound 94, just a little bit south of 70. So if you're traveling on First Capitol this morning, there's a slow go that goes back through Frieden's. But other than that, we are good. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 7:06 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Tons of sunshine on this Friday, and though it's chilly right now out the door, it's a nice afternoon. Look for a high of 71. Tonight, clear skies, falling through the 60s for evening plans, 45 for the low. The weekend, top 10 weekend on the way. Saturday, sunny, chilly start, but a mild afternoon, 75. Sunday, chilly start, but sunny and 75 Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We're coming up on 7:07 here on your Friday morning. 45 degrees the current temperature. All the news you need for your day is on the free Odyssey app. Download it now to listen to St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
the Marc Cox Morning Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
Listen to both sides.
This,
let's get it on,
is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, good morning to you. I'm hanging in there. I went to the St. Louis Blues game last night, and I shouldn't be a baby about it because Carl Middleman has to go to all those games and then get up and come in here to work.
Yeah, Mark, but I'm going to defend you on this one because Carl will then typically go take a quote-unquote 5-hour nap, as he calls it. I say he's sleeping, but you don't often get a nap. So
yeah, this is true. This is true. So I was out late, got in bed probably, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours after I normally would, and I'm working on about 3.5 hours of sleep this morning. So I apologize for that. My voice sounds raspy. That's probably why I was screaming, "Let's go Blues!" last night. And they won in overtime, of course. My buddy says to me, "Just your luck," Lewis said. "We go to overtime. In the game, you come and stay till the very end." So they won, which was good.
Yep, we needed that win.
Carl Middleman, who plays all the music and hits the horn for the Blues, played several Van Halen songs for me. He played Mammoth Van Halen and Unchained for me last night, which I appreciated. That was great.
That's cool.
So he was taking requests, and we were having a good time.
You're just practicing for election night because let's be real, are either of us going to get more than an hour of sleep on election night?
No, I have agreed once again to be on the panel over at Channel 4. So I guess I'll be on there again with maybe Gene Evans, who was on there the last time, and former Governor Jay Nixon was in there the last time. So it'll be, I'll either be very depressed at the end of the night, or I'm going to be gloating a lot as the evening drags on. Plus, Reardon will be anchoring our coverage here, and I'll be calling in and contributing as the night goes along.
Well, I mean, do we know? We don't know when we're going to get results. It could go well into the night. I mean, heck, it could take several. It could take days.
Wow, it could flip in the middle of the night if we're not watching ballots.
Thousands of ballots could suddenly be cast right at the end.
Please, whatever you do, get out and vote early so you're not facing big lines on Election Day. I'll just say it again; it's worth it. I think on the next week, on the 22nd. Yep. What day is that?
I'll look it up.
What day is the 22nd?
It's my dad's birthday. I think it's like a Tuesday or when. I should know this.
Okay.
It is a Tuesday.
Okay. So as of next Tuesday, you can vote in person, absentee with no excuse in Missouri. I would encourage you to consider doing that. Find your location. There are more of them available in St. Louis County than St. Charles County, for example. So find the one near you and find an excuse to go over there and vote so you don't face long lines on Election Day and then not get to cast your vote. That's the most important thing, is that you cast your vote, even if you have to give up the exhilaration of going on Election Day. That's the one thing we need to wrap our arms around here. We're going to talk more about that and those expectations coming up with Elizabeth Pipko. She's the national spokesperson for the RNC. We'll get to her coming up in just a minute. Bottom of the hour, I'm going to check in with our friend Ryan Schmelz. He's one of the reporters for Fox News Radio. And I brought you this story yesterday. I didn't see much coverage of it. I'm not saying they didn't cover it, but I didn't see much coverage of it in the mainstream media, where the crime statistics suddenly and quietly were changed for 2022 by the FBI late on a Friday afternoon. And if somebody hadn't been watching it, they wouldn't even have noticed. But it went from crime supposedly dropping 2% to crime being up 4%. So it was a 6-point turnaround, one of the largest in history. And we're going to check in with Ryan on what that was all about coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Of course, we got Kim on a Whim a little later as well. But right now, let's get to our top stories, Ethan, please.
The Marc Cox Short List.
In my view, we should only do paper ballots hand counted. That's it.
Thank you. Elon Musk spreading the knowledge, and that guy's got a huge platform. He's absolutely right. It should be in person. We should hand count them. It's the way we always did it. You know why? Because this guy, who is a rocket scientist, doesn't trust computers.
At the end of the day, I'm Trump because I my eyes open. I can see that he was doing a lot better than what we're going through right now.
Yeah, that's a Detroit barber. They went into a barber shop up in Michigan and wanted to find out what some of the African-American men were thinking about this election, and that guy didn't hold back at all.
We do begin this hour with breaking news. Right now, Israel trying to determine if its forces have indeed killed the leader of Hamas, Yahya Sinwar.
Yahya Sinwar is indeed dead. I've seen the pictures of the guy. It's circulating on social media this morning. A huge victory for Israel, and it may at least slow down Hamas. I don't know that it changes anything in the long term.
A major issue in this race is childcare, and Kamala has put forward a concept of a plan. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep them away. That's a nasty one. That's nasty.
That was Trump at the Al Smith dinner last night in New York. One of the better ones, I thought, one of the better zingers that he got in yesterday.
Woo. Yeah, Woo. He went there.
Well, he not only did he go there, I mean, that's what it's for. It's a roast. That's what it's for. They're supposed to be funny and honest and brutally honest, and the mainstream media has not reported on Doug Emhoff impregnating a nanny, and what led to his first divorce. And I mean, he's all pro women. Apparently, he's pro nanny for sure. We know that about him. Nobody talks about it though. You should have seen Chuck Schumer. He looked like he just sat down on a hot stove as Donald Trump was telling that joke, like just dour and glaring into the audience. And you heard the scattered applause and the oohs and the ahs. And I was watching Archbishop Dolan's face, Archbishop of New York, of course, the local guy, and he even cracked a smile when he said that one. That is pretty funny, I think.
Well, you saw what Kamala Harris sent in, right? Her video with Molly Shannon.
Oh, I did hear that. I don't know if I saw it.
It's weird. It's yeah. It's supposed to be funny. It's really not funny.
Well, she did that because she's losing the Catholic vote, which she should.
I guess so. Which would be more reason for her to go in person. That seems like a slap in the face to them that she couldn't make time for them to actually show up in person. She had to send some stupid video.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of pathetic. Well, she doesn't have the strength of her convictions. Everything she repeats, somebody's told her what to say. She doesn't have an original thought. Here was another Trump zinger from last night that I thought was spot on as well.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
And
every one of those people is voting for me.
Chuck Schumer wanted to crawl under the table at that point.
How did that get arranged that he would sit right there?
I don't know.
He's probably like, please no, please no, please no.
All of Senate leadership, of course, he's the Senate Majority Leader, was seated to the right of the podium. I saw Mike Johnson there, Speaker of the House. I saw Chucky Schumer, and there were several others down that side of the dais. And the Archbishop was over there too. It was good stuff. Those were probably two of the best singers from last night. And then the one from Jim Gaffigan. Go to cut 11 for us, please.
The media has begun discussing the phenomena of secret Trump voters. I don't know if you've heard about this. People who publicly say they would never vote for Trump, but then when they go in the voting booth, they do. It's a small group. They're called the Biden family.
Probably there might be some truth to that. Some members of the family, seriously, I could see it.
Yeah. Well, I think Jill hates Kamala Harris. I think she stripped her of power, right? She buried the knife blade between his shoulders. She has shunted them. She's said she wouldn't continue Biden policies. And, of course, she's lying, but Joe Biden does not. I'll guarantee you, I don't think she'd ever vote for Trump, but she may not vote for Harris.
Wow. Well, maybe she's the reason why all of a sudden Biden's been doing these press conferences at the exact same time when Kamala is, and then it takes away all the media coverage from Kamala.
Could be. I wonder what our next guest, Elizabeth Pipko, thinks about all of that. She's one of the national spokespeople for the RNC. We're going to get to her coming up in just a minute.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Watch out for an accident this morning on northbound 94. Now, it's just a little bit south of 70. It had been blocking traffic lanes. We had a slow go back to Friedens Road. There may still be a little bit of a delay in that area. Now, eastbound 70, also a little bit of volume at 370 this morning. But 364 looks good. Eastbound 6440 looks good. 44 is in good shape. And that's really our only issue at this hour. We are quiet through North County. Looking good on the bridges downtown on the Cordell and Cordell domestic litigation firm cameras. And 55 looks good as well. Typical Friday morning with light traffic. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 718 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Well, I like to help you out when I can, and I can start that out by, first of all, telling you how satisfied I am with the new furnace and air conditioner and heat pump put in by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Love the crew that came over there. They're very professional. They worked their rear ends off to get this thing installed in one day and got it cleaned up and working and out of there, and it was great. Here's what you need to know. I am a satisfied customer. My heating and cooling bills are going to drop now because of the high-efficiency system I got. If you go to aircomfortservice.com and tell them that you're interested in Carrier Cool Cash, they will give you up to $2,100 in cash, Carrier Cool Cash, on qualifying HVAC equipment. Now, that depends on how energy efficient it is, but it could be a little less than that, or it could be up to $2,100. You could get 0% financing for 72 months, rebates from the utility companies, tax credits, you name it, but it expires on November 23rd. So call them today. Tell them you heard Marc Cox talking about it. They're on the Better Business Bureau Torch Award list and highly rated by all the rating bureaus. Air Comfort Service is great. Call them or go to their website at aircomfortservice.com.
Hey Alexa, hey Siri, play 97.1 FM Talk. Available on your smart speaker anytime of day. St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
The Social Security Trust Fund could run out of money in less than 10 years. Discover why this could change when you file for your benefits on Your Retirement Professors, Sunday evening at 6 on KFTK 97.1 FM Talk.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Hi, Sean Long from STL Fenceworks. Satisfaction starts with quality materials. We are proud to install high-quality, American-made aluminum and vinyl fence products and maintenance-free decking. We've teamed up with Jareth Manufacturing, inventors of the aluminum fence industry. STL Fenceworks has also partnered with National Vinyl Products to offer the latest colors and variegated wood grain vinyl fence options, all made in the U.S. At STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion. Visit STLFenceworks.com today and let us make your backyard dreams into a reality.
You love your city, but let's be honest, the commute, not so much. That's where the free Odyssey app can help. Download the app and follow your local news station so you can get the latest traffic reports or find if your train is on time before you walk out your door. Knowing all this gives you time to think about the essential things like, do I have time to get coffee? Download the free Odyssey app and search your local news station. That's AUDACY.
A man, a myth, America. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
Tradition holds that I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening. So here it goes. Nope, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. These days it's really a pleasure anywhere in New York without a subpoena for my appearance. Unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep him away. That's a nasty one.
President Trump delivering his lines flawlessly last night at this Al Smith dinner. And we've got Elizabeth Pipko with us this morning, RNC spokesperson. And Elizabeth, welcome in.
Thank you for having me.
The greatest evidence that I can give anyone that Donald Trump was on target last night is that this morning on MSNBC, Al Sharpton came out and said that his comments were offensive and off the mark. That's all the evidence you need.
That is all the evidence you need. I honestly thought the most offensive thing was Kamala Harris not showing up. Personally, that's where I stood. I thought Donald Trump was funny. I thought he was on the money. I thought he was incredibly relatable. I actually thought a lot of parts that were the funniest were when he was speaking, not reading his actual lines for the evening, but just kind of being Donald Trump. I really thought what Kamala Harris sent in, that video, was incredibly strange and uncomfortable, definitely not funny, almost more insulting than the fact that she was, I think, the first candidate to not show up to the Al Smith dinner in 40 years. I thought the entire thing was very strange, but Donald Trump was hilarious, and I think for those that want to kind of tell us that he's not funny, not the man he has been for his entire life, I think last night proved that that was not the case at all.
Of course, some people are going to sit there and say, oh, what he said was offensive. But I think a lot of people need to see this side of Donald Trump, that he's relatable and he's funny and he's the kind of guy that you want to have a drink with, right? Because that's what they say is so important, which is why Stephen Colbert cracked open the beer with Kamala Harris. I don't think people see that side of Trump as much. Do you think that actually could help him in some way?
I do. Look, I have known that funny side of him for, nearly 8 years now. I think it's almost comical to me when people try to pretend that that side of him doesn't exist. I think saying that his jokes maybe were insensitive is ridiculous because it's kind of what the Al Smith dinner is known for. I remember 2016 very clearly. I remember Hillary Clinton speaking. I remember Donald Trump speaking. I remember being very impressed with both of them and the fact that they could do this. I, at that point, realized that's a tradition that we had in our country. I didn't know that. When I watched in 2016, I didn't know that that's what happened with every election cycle. I liked the fact that they could, kind of jab at each other with insensitive jokes and then shake each other's hands and have the American people watch and appreciate that moment. So I don't think the problem is that he was insensitive. I think the problem is that people are choosing to point that out and kind of erase the last, I don't even know how many decades of tradition where this is something that has gone on every single election until this time when Kamala Harris decided not to show up, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Elizabeth Pipko, our guest this morning from the RNC. Elizabeth, Donald Trump has always broken the mold when it comes to how he campaigns. To me, it's evidence that the Democrats are in trouble and they know it, that he's taking time to go to places like California and New York City and do rallies in states where I don't know when the last time was a Republican won one of those two presidential races. Maybe Ronald Reagan, I don't know, in New York. He might have picked, I guess he picked up New York in maybe 1980 or 84. But still, I mean, Trump must sense something around the country.
Well, look, like you said, Donald Trump has always done things his own way. He has not shied away from being his own kind of candidate, kind of the opposite of what a politician has always been in this country. He's a lot less calculated in the sense that he has a gut instinct. He knows what he wants to do and what he wants to say, and he's more interested in that and how he believes that he relates to the American people than how any political consultant tells him he should or tells him where he should be or what he should say. He's always been that person when he comes to these blue states. I think it's important people realize just how many people are showing up to the events that he has in these blue states. I remember people being so surprised when he was in New Jersey a couple of months ago at the boardwalk where nearly 100,000 people showed up. So I'm excited for Madison Square Garden. I'm excited for people to see the kind of arenas that he's able to fill in, the excitement that he has across the country, no matter what state he's in. And I'm excited, like you said, to watch those on the left be a little bit nervous, knowing that Kamala Harris probably couldn't fill out Madison Square Garden, and Donald Trump's going to have no problem doing just that.
That is very true. Elizabeth, I got about a little less than a minute left here. What are you guys asking for right now? Do you need donations? Do you need help this last 2.5 weeks?
We need all the help we can get because America is on the line, right? So if anyone wants to donate, we greatly appreciate that. If you want to make sure that your vote is banked and make sure everyone that you know is voting as well, that's what's most important. You can go to actually TrumpForce47.com to become a captain in your community. But early vote, make sure your vote is banked so we're not spending resources to get you to your polling location on November 5th. Bank that vote, get your friends and family, dog walker, neighbor, best friend, teacher, everyone to do the same thing. Go and vote. Make sure Donald Trump wins on November 5th because we need a landslide.
Yes, we do. Elizabeth Pipko, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
You bet. RNC spokesperson there, and she's absolutely right. Make them vote early. If you get somebody that waits till Election Day and there's 50 people in line because it takes an hour, some people are going to turn away and not vote. Let's not let that happen. Coming up, we'll talk more about the crime data. Stay tuned.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too. And that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much. But the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Attention, Missouri residents in need of care at home. If you have Medicaid and need assistance with daily activities, you can receive free in-home care from a loved one, funded by Medicaid with no cost to you. Freedom Care, Missouri's #1 home care provider, gives you the power to choose who provides your care, and they get paid instantly. Imagine your daughter, son, a close relative, or trusted friend helping you with cooking, transportation, laundry, and other activities in your own home. You get the help you need, and your caregiver gets paid instantly after their shift. Freedom Care has over 5,000 five-star Google reviews and is #1 in Missouri for in-home care. If you have Medicaid and want great care from a loved one that's 100% free to you, go to freedomcare.com or call 314-557-3027. That's 314-557-3027. 314-557-3027.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Tons of sunshine on this Friday, and though it's chilly right now out the door, it's a nice afternoon. Look for a high of 71. Tonight, clear skies, falling through the 60s for evening plans, 45 for the low. The weekend, top 10 weekend on the way. Saturday, sunny, chilly start, but a mild afternoon, 75. Sunday, chilly start, but sunny and 75 Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Good morning. It is 7:30 on this Friday morning, 45 degrees. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. AT&T says it's reassigning employees from its location in Earth City to its building downtown. The company hasn't said how many employees are moving and adds that this will not result in a reduction in staff. AT&T released a statement saying, in part, we're always looking to streamline and optimize our business to improve efficiency and help our employees connect better. Construction of a new high school in Cahokia Heights is getting some pushback from protesters claiming minority contractors have been overlooked for work. There's a groundbreaking today for that new high school in the Metro East. The district superintendent says the $80 million contract was simply offered to the company with the lowest bid. In sports, the Blues beat the Islanders 1-0 last night in overtime. They're at the Enterprise Center again tomorrow, playing the Hurricanes at 6. City SC plays its final match of the season on the road tomorrow against Minnesota at 8. Mizzou plays Auburn tomorrow at 11. Illinois faces Michigan at 2:30. And then on Sunday, it's the Chiefs versus the 49ers at 3:25. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Eastbound 70 drivers, watch out for an accident this morning, really close to 370. And it looks like they've got the left lanes blocked. Traffic, of course, is stacked up behind it. It doesn't quite go back to 79, but it is back past Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. Now, we do have a little bit of volume southbound 61, headed for 70 this morning, but 64 itself looks pretty good. Maybe moderate volume east of Clarkson, but then things open up. And we look good on eastbound 44 as well. Out west into downtown, 55 is a good run. And no delays for Illinois drivers on the bridges downtown at this hour. They're in good shape. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 732 at 97.1. St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You know that feeling when you move into your house and you almost have like those rose-colored goggles on where you don't see that much wrong, maybe a few things here and there, and then you live there for a few years and you're like, yeah, I would like to change that. That's not as functional as I'd like, but you don't want to move, right? I'm going to admit I'm in that phase. Don't tell my husband. But what you want to do is don't fear. Just call the pros at Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're going to make it simple. They're going to pair you with an in-house designer. Their whole crew, by the way, is in-house. And they're going to walk you through the whole process. Whatever you need done. This is a family-owned company, by the way, and they have almost 3 decades of experience making homes right here in the St. Louis area. Not only beautiful, but more functional, right? So maybe it's a new kitchen that you've been wanting for several years, a new bathroom, a deck to enjoy to expand your outdoor space. They do it all. Lakeside Renovation and Design, they can even install this James Hardy siding that's made from fiber cement. This is stuff that is built to last. They also offer Infinity from Marvin windows. Those are 8 times stronger than vinyl. They have top-notch products that they want to offer their clients, and they care about getting the job done right. I know the family. Great people. They're people that you want to partner with, and that's why I'm so appreciative of their support here on the Marc Cox Morning Show. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Ask about their special deal going on now through the end of the month. The number to call for Lakeside is 636-978-5000 or check them out online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com.
If your family has been touched by Alzheimer's, join with 97.1 listeners and many others at St. Louis Walk to End Alzheimer's on Saturday, October 26th at Chesterfield Park. It's a community of support. Register today at 971talk.com/events.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
She learned the value of hard work and responsibility at her family's small business at an early age. Ann Wagner took those same hard-working Missouri values to Washington. She's made it her job to keep the radical left from harming your job. Today, in the midst of Joe Biden's out-of-control inflation, Ann Wagner protects us by working to lower costs for families. As a mother of 3, she understands the work and has done it to keep your home and community safe. That's why Ann Wagner fought to secure our border and stop traffickers from smuggling fentanyl and illegal immigrants into our communities, and why she gave law enforcement the tools they need to defend us. And Ann Wagner took a stand against the defund the police radicals who will leave us in harm's way. She'll always back our brave law enforcement officers, putting conservative values to work for us. Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Helping St. Louis wake up. The Marc Cox Morning Show. The Marc Cox Morning Show. On the air and streaming at 971talk.com.
Welcome back. We have got Donald Trump live on Fox and Friends right now with Brian Kilmeade and the gang. We're going to cut in and take some of that live.
Yes, there is, and we spend more money there. And a lot of states, look, you know what's going to happen. The states that are well run now, like, I don't want to say specifically but you take Indiana. It's so nice. No debt, everything is good. Our beautiful Iowa, right, that I win every time. Take every one of those states. So let's say out of the 50, we have close to 40 like that. Then you have the laggards run by guys like Gavin Newsom, who is, you probably won't do as well there, but there you have to watch it a little bit more. Right. But no, if they want to get cute, then you don't send them the money.
So, Mr. President, we got a question from my home state of Texas. This is Don. He has a question about accomplishments.
Good morning, Mr. President. My name is Don Albright. I live in Katy, Texas. My question is, what is something that you did not accomplish in your first term that you would like to accomplish in this term?
Well, you know, we had a great first term. We had the greatest economy we've ever had. We had the strongest borders we've ever had. We rebuilt the entire U.S. military. Unfortunately, they gave a lot of it to
to Afghanistan in one of the worst times ever. I think the biggest thing for me in terms of government is get great people. I had great people. I had a lot of great, like Bob Lighthizer and Fred. We had great people. But I had a couple of clinkers that I would not want again. And I didn't know, you have to understand, I was there 17 times in my entire life. All of a sudden, I'm president. I'm saying, wait a minute. And people are recommending different people. Of the people, usually we got it right, but there were some ones that we didn't get right. I now know everybody in Washington. I think it's been enforced. I know people in Washington that nobody ever heard.
Now you'll be the most experienced president.
I think I'll be the most experienced guy. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the dumb ones, the smart ones, the loyal ones,
right.
the people that want to.
What about the list of the dumb ones? Let's hear that.
Oh, I give you a list.
All the people that were
involved. Most of them are the people that I fired. You know, when you fire, Biden has never fired anybody. Never. He should have fired a lot of generals and a lot of people for Afghanistan, as an example. I took out ISIS. I promote people. I beat ISIS. It was supposed to take 5 years. It took 1 month. I did it in 1 month. We have unbelievable generals. We have unbelievable military, but not the guys like Milley that you see on television all the time. We have great people.
Are those generals fired when you're there? Because some of the people involved with Afghanistan are still
almost
dead.
every person that speaks badly of me. Look, firing, I know a lot about firing. When you fire somebody, you can do it nicely and take a year and just, not working out, blah, blah, blah. I've done that. And I've done it. Get out, you're fired. Get out. And I
saw that on TV.
But can I tell you, I did quite well. So I've done it always. You know, at the end, when you get fired, you get fired. It doesn't matter. You might as well just do it quickly. And then if you're famous, like me, they read a book.
Right.
Because the sleaze bags come out and they offer them $1 million to write a book. And then sometimes they'll say, I want to make it good. No, we're not interested in a good book. We're only... So I end up with more books than, I just end up... And I end up with... It is true. If Bush fired somebody, nobody cares about Bush. They couldn't care less about Bush. I think you do. You like Bush.
Yeah, I do.
I'll use it. Let me use it differently.
You like W? You guys get along?
He's fine. Well, yeah, but I disagreed with what he did so much. Right. I just disagreed with it.
So
I really did.
Yeah, so you're listening to President Trump live right now. He's on the couch at Fox and Friends with Brian Kilmeade and gang and Ainsley and Ducey and all of them. I just want to let you listen. He's taking questions from Fox and Friends viewers. Listen.
Trump, I'm Daniel, and I'm 10, and I'm from Tennessee. What was your favorite president when you were little?
Who was your favorite president when you were little?
So I liked Ronald Reagan. I thought he was... Look, I didn't love his trade policy. I'm a very good trade. I've made some great trade deals for us, the USMCA. That wasn't his strength, but he had a great dignity about him, Ronald Reagan. You could say, there's our president, more than any others, really any of the others. Great presidents, well, Lincoln was probably a great president, although I've always said, why wasn't that settled? I'm a guy that, it doesn't make sense. We had a civil war.
Well, half the country left before he got there.
Yeah, but you'd almost say, like, why wasn't that? As an example, Ukraine would have never happened, and Russia, if I were president. Israel would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. As you know, Iran was broke. They wanted to make a deal. I told anybody buys any oil from Iran, you're finished. You can't deal with the United States. Nobody was buying oil from Iran. They came. They wanted to make a deal. Now they have $300 billion in cash. Biden has been, and her, I don't know if she was involved in it, but she's terrible. Hey, look, remember this. She was the border czar. She never went there.
Right.
She was the border czar and the Border Patrol. The one thing you have to remember, the Border Patrol gave the strongest endorsement that anybody's ever seen. He's the best there is. There's never been. He's the greatest president, the greatest at the border. And she's terrible. That was their policy. And these guys are great, by the way. These are great. You know them very well from the show.
Oh, yeah.
We got the best endorsement, and that really says it all. And I think the border is a bigger thing than inflation and the economy. I watch your polling where it says the economy and inflation at number 1, 2, and then it says, always says, like the 3. I think the border is bigger. I got elected in 2016 on the border. I did a great job. I couldn't even mention it after that because nobody cared because it was fixed. We had a great border. Then they blew it. Right. And I have to do it again. The difference is it's much worse this time.
Right.
Because they're allowing...
that is President Trump there live on the couch with Fox and Friends, and you've heard some of that before. Maybe others you haven't. They're taking questions from some of their viewers. So I assume this was planned in advance. I didn't hear them promote the fact that he was going to be on there this morning.
No. What's interesting, too, is there's a little kid asking a question now, and I think it was a 10-year-old who had just asked him who his favorite president was, and he said, well, Reagan, even though he didn't agree with everything he did, especially as it relates to, I think he said, trade policy.
Trade.
But yeah, the dignity, I think, is the word he used to describe Reagan, and that was something that really stood out to him.
Yeah, I think it's always worth repeating that Donald Trump is not your traditional conservative. Right?
No.
He's not. And that's why I argue to people who are lukewarm on him that he's got different ideas. But nobody in my lifetime has accomplished some of the things he accomplished in terms of the Supreme Court, in terms of the border, fixing problems. The economy was humming along because he's a businessman. He's not somebody that was raised in government where you have an endless supply of people's tax dollars. That's the easiest job in the world. I'm sorry, it is. You don't ever have to worry about running out of money. You just go back and print more. And then you start up whatever program you want, and if it costs $3 billion, you just print $3 more billion, or you borrow it from the Chinese. It's pathetic. A good business person would never do that. If they do over-leverage themselves, then they're not in business anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why he was so successful in this. And nobody's out there saying this is the most conservative, greatest conservative. I think a lot of people would identify Ronald Reagan as that person for them.
Well, I mean, think about Donald Trump's take on abortion.
Yes.
He's far more, dare I say, liberal on that than I would be. I don't agree with where he stands on that. He's flip-flopped. I think he's trying to toe the line a little bit on that issue because he knows it's such a key, it's a sticking point for the left. And I think it's going to drive a lot of people to the polls who might not otherwise care to vote, and they will simply because that is at stake in their minds.
And some people are not willing to cut him any slack for that. But it's still a stark contrast. Even if you don't like his approach to it, and he's the one that gave it back to the states. You got to look at it that way. He's the one that appointed the justices who overturned the bad jurisprudence, the bad law that Roe was, and put it back to the states. You don't have to agree with him on specific abortion policy. That was a win. How many hundreds of thousands of lives will that save? I don't know. We have to keep making that argument. But in the meantime, the difference between his approach to it and Kamala Harris's, which is birth for any excuse, which is abortion for any excuse up until birth, is stark. Mm-hmm. The differences are stark. And if you go to church, if you consider yourself a Christian, I don't know how in the world you could go out in good conscience and vote for somebody who wants to take a life like that in the 6th or 7th or 8th month because of the mental health problems of the mother. And that's what Amendment 3 says very clearly.
Yeah. And I know you and I have talked about this a lot, but it's worth repeating. I mean, so many pastors have failed their congregation, priests who are not speaking out about this because they're sitting there saying, well, separation of church and state. It is worth me repeating that was designed to keep the state out of the church, not the other way around. And if anyone tells you that that's not the case, they're lying to you.
I would agree completely. What are we talking about in Kim on a Whim?
Well, it's funny because I've been listening to what Trump's been saying, and he's this guy who's just bold, right? He's going to say whatever is on his mind. He has no filter, and he doesn't really care if people reject him. The problem is people are terrified these days of being rejected. And it's such a problem that there's this new trend where people are intentionally getting rejected to make themselves, I guess, get more comfortable with it. Very odd.
Sounds like my dating life. I'm just kidding. We're going to get to that in just a minute. Stay tuned.
Follow Marc on Twitter at MarkCox971. A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. Well, there was an accident on eastbound 70 approaching 370. Looking at the Cordell and Cordell domestic litigation firm traffic cameras, they've had the left lane blocked, and that has created a jam behind it. So if you are eastbound on 70 and hitting a slowdown at 79, that's the reason. Okay, for some reason, the shot of that camera just went upside down. So it's hard to tell whether they got that cleared, but the jam is still there. Now, eastbound 64, a little bit slow at Clarkson this morning. Some moderate volume around Clayton, Warson, and then things open up. We still look good if you're headed in from Illinois on the bridges downtown, and 55 northbound looks pretty good from down south into the city. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 747 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Sponsored by Ulta Beauty.
We've brought the Emerald City to Ulta Beauty with wicked collaborations from REM Beauty by Ariana Grande, It Brushes for Ulta, and OPI. Hurry in, these fantabulous products won't last long. See Wicked November 22nd, only in theaters. Ulta Beauty, the possibilities are beautiful.
All right, driving in the other morning, I think it was yesterday when I saw the frost, I did see some people's sprinkler systems on watering their lawn at 4 in the morning as I was coming to work with frost on some of the grass. And that is the clear sign that it's time to consider winterization. And I want to remind you that my friends at Pro Outdoor are booking up right now to get that done. Don't put this off. These temperatures are going to only get colder, and you need to get your winterization scheduled right now for that irrigation system that you've got. Mine is set up for next week, and they can help you out there, right? Because you don't want the expensive repair of that backflow device if it freezes. You don't want to deal with that. You want to get that thing cleared out, get your lines cleared out with air, and Pro Outdoor can do that for you today. They can also do the core aeration, which they're going to do for me when they come out next week, to get my lawn ready for the spring and make sure there's overseeding and fertilization that gets down into the soil. Call them at 636-692-4441. Do it today. Get on the list before the slots all fill up with Pro Outdoor. 692-4441 or prooutdoor.com.
The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood, do you think that the United States and also the world understands the gravity of what took place in Israel on October 7th?
No. Weekdays from noon to 3.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver to detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle. Active Liver is available in stores at CVS or online at Amazon.
Do you have $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 in debt? Then listen to this. You may not be required to pay it all back.
I was drowning in debt.
I had over $36,000 in debt.
If I would have just made the minimum payments, it would have taken me 59 years to pay off.
Whether it's credit card, medical, or personal loan debt, National Debt Relief can help significantly reduce what you owe. In fact, debt relief payments can be 50% less than your monthly credit card payments. That's right, half as much as you're paying now.
National Debt Relief reduced my debt by over $27,000.
With National Debt Relief, you have a powerful team that knows how to talk to your creditors.
National Debt Relief, they got me out of debt.
More than 550,000 Americans have used National Debt Relief to reduce their debt. Call 800-649-6464 to see if you qualify to settle your debt for a fraction of what you owe. 800-649-6464. That's 800-649-6464.
City 2 is in the postseason. Join us Sunday, October 20th at 2 p.m. for City 2 versus LAFC 2 to support City 2 in their playoff run. Only $13 with player meet and greets and fun activities for the whole family. Tickets on sale now at SeatGeek.com. Don't miss out and get your tickets now. This Sunday, October 20th at 2 p.m. City 2 takes on LAFC 2, and you won't want to miss out on the action. Tickets on sale now at SeatGeek.com.
If you have hunting property in the state of Missouri, listen up. I want to introduce you to Missouri Brush Control. If you're frustrated with thick brush and limited visibility, Missouri Brush Control can open that up for you. They can come in with their forestry mulching machines and create shooting lanes for you, enhancing your hunting environment and attracting game like never before. Enjoy your hunting property the way you've always dreamed of. To see what I mean, go to their website and check out their gallery of before and after projects. That's MissouriBrushControl.com. Tell them Bo Matthews sent you to Missouri Brush Control.
Truth, justice, and the American way. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. Kim on a Whim.
Kim on a Whim is proudly brought to you by Missouri Brush Control. Enjoy your land the way you've always dreamed of. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com.
I don't know why so many people are scared to speak up about different issues they support. Maybe it's just fear of rejection, or they don't know how to respond, so they figure that it's just best to not even say it at all. But I guess fear of rejection is such a problem that there's now this trend that's gone viral on social media called rejection therapy.
Oh.
What it does is it encourages people to walk up to strangers with odd requests that you're likely going to get a no on. So I watched some of these videos yesterday, and some of them were, for example, a girl walking up to a stranger and saying, "Hi, could I borrow $100?" Of course, the person said no. Or another girl had a dress on and walked up to the store employee and said, "Hey, can I have this dress for free? I can't afford it." Obviously said no. But the whole idea is that if they get enough rejection, they'll get practice with it, and then it'll become more comfortable for them so they don't, have so much anxiety the next time it actually happens.
This is the direct result of not being told no enough by your parents.
You mean gentle parenting?
Yes. Absolutely.
No,
I saw somebody
agree.
say
That's
the
part of
other
it.
day for a lot of people in my generation, the most terrifying sound was the sound of leather clearing 8 belt loops because you knew they were coming for you, right? Or your dad taking a willow branch and stripping all the leaves off of it because he told you no and you didn't listen. This is the anxiety of rejection. You need to learn those lessons early in life. And we're not teaching our kids that. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a winner. Everybody gets a trophy. I know you lost, but don't feel bad. No, I'm sorry. You should feel bad briefly because that should be your impetus to do better at it next time.
Mm-hmm.
Why have we dissolved into that? Some social workers have taken over the world. And everybody's got to be a winner and feel good about themselves.
I think that's why so many people are scared to say, for example, that they support Donald Trump because he's this controversial guy. And if you say that, then, well, you might lose friends. Us conservatives, I'm sure many of us, myself included, have lost friends over our political beliefs. A very good friend of mine walked out of my life. I've shared this story before. That's insane that it's come to that level.
Well,
but that's where we're at. So people just want to stay quiet. And that's the problem, is that you can't be too scared to be bold. I mean, come on, just speak truth. Truth in love. That is key. You can still say something out of love, but speak truth.
The leftists are driven by their hatred of Donald Trump. And here's where those relationships go sour. If you've got friends on social media who are posting negative things about Trump, challenge them on it.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge them. Post your own meme on below theirs that counters what they said. Or like I did to my friend the other day who wrote something about how horrible Donald Trump was, and I can't stand the look of his hair or the sound of his voice, and I just want it to be over because I'm a snowflake. And I posted, "Hey, listen to this. The party of tolerance speaks. Give me a break. You want to look me in the eye and tell me that a man who was born with a penis can suddenly wake up one morning and decide that he's a woman, but you can't take the fact that Donald Trump said something that hurt your feelings and insulted you one time.
Well,
get over it."
Let's also point out that they're the party of tolerance, but they only tolerate what falls in their category of acceptable terms. So if you don't support the trans community, all of a sudden they're not tolerant of you, right? In fact, you're evil and you're a bigot and all of these names that they throw out at you. I mentioned this book yesterday, Unoffendable, and I have not read it myself, but actually my church brought it up, and it's on my list of books I'd like to read, because that's part of the problem, is that people are so offended. And I think I hear people freaking out about a caption on social media on how to pose, and I'm like, oh my gosh, just post it. Maybe that is good practice. Just stop flipping out about little tiny things like that and just be bold. I'm telling you, I started in 2021 when I lost my job at KMOV over the vaccine mandate. That put a fire under my butt. I've become more bold, and it is the most freeing feeling.
It's liberating.
It is liberating.
Liberating.
Speak out. Be bold.
And vote early and often for you Illinoisans. All right. Coming up, we're going to talk, speaking of Illinois, there are a couple of big issues on the ballot over there. I didn't cover them in my voter guide, but I'm going to talk about them with the Illinois Policy Institute right after the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
If you had a crystal ball, you wouldn't agonize over when to sell your home. You just ask, should I sell while my home's value is sky high? Or wait and hope the bottom doesn't drop out of the housing market? The thing is, I'm not ready to move. You don't need a crystal ball with TrueHold Sell and Stay. You can literally sell now and move when you're ready. When you sell your home to TrueHold, you can cash out your home's equity quickly and easily, and you can stay in your home with a flexible standard lease. TrueHold pays property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs too. TrueHold unlocks your wealth without uprooting your life. Get a no-obligation offer now while home values are sky high. You could use the money to secure your retirement, pay off bills, or finance your dreams. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's equity without moving. That's Truehold.com. Terms and conditions apply. See website for more details. If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Trump on TV. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The former president was just on Fox and Friends.
I am the most stable human being. Remember they said a stable genius. I am the most stable human being. I've been doing this for a long time.
As for his rival, Vice President Harris.
She's a low IQ person. She's not smart. Everyone knows that.
And the former president touted his outrage to minority voters.
I just saw a Hispanic poll where I'm at 52%. Nobody's ever seen that before.
Later, he'll campaign in Michigan. So will Vice President Harris, who said at a rally in Wisconsin.
The American people are exhausted with his gaslighting.
Now, President Biden's in Germany for talks focused on further helping Ukraine battle Russia. As South Korea's spy agency joins Ukraine's president, saying North Korea is sending thousands of troops to fight with Russian forces in Ukraine. The president has also just talked about Gaza, saying Israel's killing of Hamas's leader, Yahya Sinwar, was justice.
Let's also make this moment an opportunity to seek a path to peace, a better future in Gaza without Hamas.
Now, Israel's prime minister says the war is not over. And a top Hamas official just said they will not set hostages free in Gaza until there's a ceasefire and Israel withdraws. Fox's Matt Finn in Tel Aviv reads more of Hamas's statement.
It seems that Israel believes that killing our leaders means the end of our movement and the struggle of the Palestinian people. We believe that our destiny is one of two good things, either victory or martyrdom.
A condemned man woke up this morning on death row in Texas. But Robert Roberson wasn't supposed to until the state Supreme Court blocked his lethal injection last night, like many state lawmakers in both parties had called for, including Rep. John Busey.
He knows this isn't over. He wants the truth to come to light, and the Texas House is working to do that.
Now, Roberson was convicted of murdering his 2-year-old daughter in 2002 by shaking her, but doubts are growing about his guilt. Even the lead investigator in the case now says he was wrong then and Roberson's innocent. America's listening to Fox News.
So this new dose is, nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
It is 8:03, 45 degrees here on this Friday morning. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. Some Missouri hospitals are delaying surgeries after hurricane damage caused a nationwide shortage on intravenous fluids. More than half of the nation's IV supplies come from a company out of North Carolina that was damaged by Hurricane Helene. Officials with SSM Health, BJC, Mercy, and St. Luke's Hospital say at this point they're just taking measures to conserve IV fluids instead of having to cancel surgeries. In the Metro East, the Fairview Heights Longhorn Steakhouse that was forced to close following several cases of food poisoning is now approved to reopen. 26 people who dined there between early and mid-October had tested positive for Shigella. Another 66 reported symptoms that were consistent with that bacterial infection. The St. Clair County Health Department said inspectors have since been at that restaurant and even retrained employees. The restaurant also hired professional cleaners. The local Better Business Bureau is warning about buying off Facebook Marketplace after a Town and Country man was caught in the middle of a scam. Channel 4 reports people paid for an iPhone and were told to pick it up at the seller's mailbox. Well, turns out it was not the seller's house. It was, of course, this man who lives in Town and Country. The seller instead blocked the buyers on Facebook and pocketed the money. The BBB recommends seeing the item you're buying in person before handing over any money. It is 8:04 and 45 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. All right, in sports, the Blues beat the Islanders in overtime 1-0 last night. They're at the Enterprise Center tomorrow playing the Hurricanes at 6. City SC plays its final match of the season on the road tomorrow. It'll be against Minnesota at 8. You can catch all the action on our sister station, Y98. Meanwhile, the Dodgers crushed the Mets 10-2 in Game 4 of the NLCS last night. They're playing again today at 4:08, and then Game 6 coming up on Sunday. Meanwhile, this Guardians-Yankees game, I actually caught some of this. It was incredible. Goes into extra innings. They end it with the Guardians getting a walk-off home run. That was Game 3. The final score of that one, 7-5. Game 5 is tonight at 7:08, and then Game 6 is tomorrow. Also tomorrow, Mizzou plays Auburn at 11. Illinois faces Michigan at 2:30. And then coming up on Sunday, 3:25, it is the Chiefs versus the 49ers. 45 degrees now at 8:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
We have a report of a stall westbound 44 approaching Big Bend. Watch for that one. It looks like it's on the right shoulder. So not causing a huge delay. In fact, we have generally light traffic this morning. Eastbound 70 is slow just east of 370. And then a little bit at Jennings Station, and then things open up. Eastbound 64, some moderate volume out at Lake St. Louis Boulevard and at Clarkson. But westbound still looks good if you're headed toward 170. Eastbound 44 in great shape. No delays on northbound 55 from down south into downtown at this hour. And we look great on the Illinois side. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 8:06 at 97.1. St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Tons of sunshine on this Friday, and though it's chilly right now out the door, it's a nice afternoon. Look for a high of 71. Tonight, clear skies, falling through the 60s for evening plans, 45 for the low of the weekend. Top 10 weekend on the way. Saturday, sunny, chilly start, but a mild afternoon, 75. Sunday, chilly start, but sunny and 75 Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We're coming up on 8:07, 45 degrees right now. All the news you need for your day is on the free Odyssey app. Download it now to listen to St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Listen to both sides.
The bottom line is, I respect that. We don't agree.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Just to find a voice.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
I don't know how to put this.
Marc Cox.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Well, it adds excitement, doesn't it, folks?
All right, good morning to you. Welcome into the Marc Cox Morning Show. I'm not sure what I'm hearing in the background, but it seems like it's me. So that's probably my fault there, Ethan, not yours. I just want to give you that peace of mind.
That's all right. You threw me off there. I was
that's all right. I opened up the Facebook page because when you reply to a comment on there, it forces you to open up the page, and then it was playing back through my computer, so I apologize for that. Glad you're with us this morning. We are live there on Facebook. We're live on Rumble, X, YouTube, wherever you would like to watch, however you'd like to watch if you would, or listen on the radio, you can do that. Obviously, we're on the Odyssey app as well, or you can stream us on the internet, 971talk.com. That's where the voter guide is. I'll remind you again, 2.5 weeks out, vote early. We had somebody from the RNC on earlier, and that's what they're telling people. Don't get trapped in trying to squeeze it in on Election Day and then finding out that there are lines because there are 45 things on the ballot and people didn't read it ahead of time, and they're taking their time, and they take 45 or 50 minutes per person. At most of these polling places, there are maybe 15 or 20 places to sit down. When those are all full, everybody outside is waiting until all those people get done. It's going to take a while on November 5th. If starting next Tuesday you can go vote in Missouri, at least, absentee with no excuse in person, get it done. Bank that vote, and then you don't have to worry about the possibility of missing out.
I guess nothing would stop me from doing this other than just the commitment of time. But I'm just thinking, man, if I could just print out a bunch of the sample ballots and go to some of these polling locations and hand them out to the people waiting in line and say, hey, fill it out now. Read over what's on the ballot. That way, when you actually get up to the front of the line, you already know. You know exactly who you're voting for.
Yeah. And they can print my ballot out. They can print my, not ballot, but my voter guide out. And you can take that with you. It'll help you on the big issues and the amendments and the big races for sure. Here's the other question. Is it legal to take a picture of your ballot? And apparently the answer to that is no, it's not. Did you know that?
I guess I've heard you can take people will take selfies with their stickers, I guess, while they're voting. But
Channel 2 wrote an extensive article on this yesterday, or they got it from their news source. I think it's what was it credited to here? Let me look here. News Nation, that said it is illegal to take a selfie with a ballot, according in 14 states, including Illinois and Missouri and Mississippi and Montana and Alaska and Nevada, and it lists them all there.
So why would that be illegal?
Well, because they're afraid that it could cause fraud. Some government officials have defended the restriction, saying they could lead to a host of problems for voters. Secretary of State out in Idaho said that he was worried that in the age of cancel culture, if a ballot were breached, people would know how other people were voting. There could be consequences. Jay Ashcroft told the outlet that the secrecy of your ballot ensures there cannot be voter intimidation. I'm not that worried about it. If I take a picture of my ballot, it's because I'm proud of how I voted.
Yeah, but Mark, you have guts. Let's be real. Not a lot of people have those.
Well, then they
these
shouldn't
days.
be taking selfies of themselves
but
with their ballot.
people love selfies. That's the problem.
That doesn't mean you can't fill out your sample ballot and take it with you so that it doesn't take you as long once the voting starts.
Well, that was my point.
Yeah.
I did that I did it for the primary. I plan to do it again. And that's what I mean. Like, if people just had their sample ballot already filled out, you just bring that in and boom, 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 you're done in 5 minutes.
Yep. I think hopefully that's what people look into. Coming up, we're going to talk to Bryce Hill, Director of Policy Analysis, Fiscal Analysis at Illinois Policy. A couple of big issues on the ballot in Illinois on November 5th that you need to know about, and we're going to chat with him about that coming up here in just a couple minutes. One of them is a big tax increase. It's that whole your fair share thing in Illinois. where they would, under the guise of reducing property taxes, they'd try to stick it in the rear end of billionaires or millionaires or somebody in the state of Illinois. That's always the answer. Let's drive the rich people out of the state. They'll all go to Florida. Then you won't have them anymore. It's stupidity, and they keep doing it. But they're trying to do that in Illinois. We'll talk to Bryce Hill about it coming up. But first, I want us to get to some of our top stories this morning.
The Marc Cox Shortlist.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2.
No, Ozzie Smith, say it ain't so. I'm so disappointed in the Wizard of Oz because he states a bold-faced lie that he's getting paid to say in this ad in favor of Prop 2. We're going to talk about that coming up.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris, but I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
Donald Trump was on fire delivering the zingers last night at that Al Smith dinner up in New York. We'll have more of that for you.
At the end of the day, I'm Trump because I my eyes open. I can see that he was doing a lot better than what we're going through right now.
Yeah, a barber up in Detroit, Michigan, telling the folks interviewing him there that he knows how he's voting, and he thinks a lot of other black men are voting the same way.
I don't know how many more elections I'll be involved with, and I'm too old to gild the lily. Heck, I'm only 2 months younger than Donald Trump.
I just looking at Bill, I'd say he's too old to gild a lot of things. I'm just he's not looking good. He's looking a little worn out, isn't he?
Yeah, he sounds like he's 90.
Put up a picture of him and Sammy Hagar. They're the same age. Sammy's a rock star who just celebrated a full concert in his Cabo Wabo Cantina in Cabo, and Bill Clinton can barely utter a sentence. And the only common denominator difference between them is Hillary Clinton. I'm thinking that's what a lifetime of Hillary Clinton has done to the man.
You have to compare him, of course, to Sammy Hagar. I'm thinking of Trump, who's about Bill Clinton's age, and that guy's whisking around the country doing multiple rallies in one day, different cities, several hour-long rallies. The guy's like the Energizer Bunny.
Out late last night, up early this morning on Fox and Friends. He was live. We carried some of that for you last hour. He was taking questions from viewers on Fox and Friends, and Kamala Harris, in the meantime, is nowhere to be found. She's the first presidential candidate in 50 years to skip that dinner last night, and she sent in some weak videotaped response because, of course, she can't perform live. That's exactly the kind of person you need as leader of the free world. Give me a break. Hey, just quickly, because we are going to get to Bryce Hill coming up, I want to play you the rest of that comment on Amendment 2 by Ozzie Smith. Listen to this.
It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans, too.
Yeah. The Cardinals are all in on this. So are all the major professional sports teams. I don't have a problem with professional sports betting. I don't do it, but I have a problem with it. What I have a problem is you lying about where the money's going. Ozzie Smith is telling a lie about where the money's going. Don't take my word for it. But even though I can read, I have a brain and 2 eyes, and you can read the amendment for yourself. It says could contribute anywhere from $0 to $28 million a year to education. They wouldn't put 0 in there if 0 wasn't a big possibility because they can deduct so many things before they ever declare profitability. Very little of this money will ever get to schools. And it's a lie to say it's going to be $100 million. They're taking that $28 million figure, timesing it out by 5 years and claiming it would be over $100 million. It's never going to be that much. It's a lie. And I'm so disappointed that Ozzie would do that and take the money. I just have to say, it's sad that they're spending that much money to deceive people. If you want sports gambling, just say vote yes on sports gambling. Don't try to lie and claim that it's going to help schools because there is 0 evidence of that. And News Channel 5, if you don't believe me, go look it up. They did their own fact check on this and reached the exact same conclusion that I did. So go over there and look for it. Missouri Amendment 2 story. All right, quick break. We will get to our guest from the Illinois Policy Institute and talk about a couple of the issues on the Illinois ballot coming up on November 5th. We'll be right back.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
270 really near Ladue Road. They moved it off to the right, but there's a little bit of a slowdown in there. But that's about it. Eastbound 70 looks great out west into the city. 64 does as well. There was some moderate volume right around Big Bend, but that was the worst of it. Northbound 270 is in good shape. 55 looks good. No delays if you're headed in from Illinois on the bridges downtown. Pretty good Friday morning. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas. 817 at 97.1. St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
All right, time for me to tell you what's going on at Overhead Door. You have an opportunity here, and you can't take advantage of it unless, of course, you go to overheaddoorsstlouis.com and enter, because they're having a sweepstakes over there. Can't win a sweepstakes if your name is not in it. So I want to encourage you to go over there to overheaddoorsstlouis.com, enter the $5,000 sweepstakes. They're going to draw a winner at the end of the month, and they get $5,000 toward a new garage door or garage doors, openers, front entry doors of their choice, whatever that happens to be. And that's going to go a long way over at Overhead Door. You get a brand new garage door that can change the look of your home. In the meantime, call them if you need service, because they do that very well too. They can service your garage door, your opener, whether they installed it or not. They do same-day service, which if you've ever had your garage door break down, you know is very important. 636-692-4441 or online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
On-time news. On your time. Download the Odyssey app and dip in whenever you want. And stay on top of what's happening. 97.1 FM Talk on the Odyssey app.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. As a business owner, it's your job to anticipate constant market changes. But what do you do in the event of a divorce? Years of hard work building a business are on the line. This is not business as usual. You need an experienced partner you can count on for help. We're Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of our Missouri or Illinois attorneys. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Town & Country, Missouri, 63017. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 biggest newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Here's Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith asking you to vote yes on 2.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans too. That's why the Royals, Chiefs, Blues, and Cardinals all join me in saying yes on Amendment 2.
Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Hey, St. Louis, are you in search of top-notch cybersecurity solutions? Look no further. ThrottleNet is here to help. Ransomware attacks are on the rise, putting businesses like yours at risk. Don't let cyber criminals jeopardize your hard-earned success. ThrottleNet provides comprehensive cybersecurity services tailored specifically to your unique needs. Our award-winning customer service provides 24/7 protection to keep your data safe and secure. Take charge of your digital security today. Protect your business, protect your future. ThrottleNet.com, your reliable partner in cybersecurity.
It's only scary because it's true. You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. Follow Marc on Twitter at MarcCox971.
It's never too early to learn that the government is a greedy piglet that suckles on a taxpayer's teat until they have sore, chapped nipples.
Boyd, and truer words were never uttered, particularly at election time when greedy politicians are coming to you, not with bills, but with referendums. And a referendum is the political equivalent of licking your finger and sticking it up to see which way the wind's blowing to determine whether or not you're going to pursue that legislation in the next legislative session. Now, in Illinois, the Democrats have a supermajority. they can do whatever they want. They can make illegal aliens, they can make non-citizens law enforcement officers. So you could be arrested by a non-citizen in the United States who's been employed by some law enforcement agency in Illinois. This is the silly kind of stuff they do. Well, there are 3 issues on the ballot coming up in November that you need to know about. I want to make sure people aware of these. I would be a no on all of them, but they're all referendums, and one of them deals with, for example, property tax and the false belief that they're somehow going to reduce property tax by taxing millionaires. We've got Bryce Hill joining us this morning. He's the Director of Fiscal Analysis at the Illinois Policy Institute, illinoispolicy.org. Bryce, good morning.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Mark.
Absolutely. You know, it seems like whenever you and I talk, it's about some, whacking any scheme that the Illinois legislature's cooked up. So I would assume it's the legislature that put this on the ballot. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. The legislature is now asking. They're doing a non-binding referendum, which is exactly what you said. Licking their chops, trying to see which way the wind's blowing, and if Illinois residents dare slip up, they're going to seize the opportunity to raise their taxes. And the referendum we're talking about is going to appear on the ballot. It's going to say, will voters approve a 3% income tax hike for those making more than $1 million if the money is guaranteed to go to property tax relief? So it's a very conveniently veiled, disguised opportunity for the legislature to try to gauge the public's opinion on a tax hike, essentially. So that's what we're talking about today.
But then the Illinois Policy Institute finds that really wouldn't even make a dent in the money that would be needed to address that.
No, it wouldn't. If we were to enact this tax, it would raise less than $4.5 billion. The state needs to raise at least $4.8 billion to balance its own budget to be able to actually pay for things like pensions and its ongoing debt service, to actually pay for the current year's costs. So none of those savings could be passed on to local governments and thereby reduce property taxes unless the tax hike is going to raise at least $4.8 billion. Most recent data suggests that this tax hike would come nowhere close to raising that much money, and therefore Illinoisans would be trading their constitutionally protected flat income tax, which is extremely important.
Yeah,
it's a guarantee that basically helps ward off tax hikes year after year. They'd be trading that for this false promise of property tax relief, which property taxes are a major issue. Unfortunately, this measure just wouldn't do anything to cover that burden.
So, Bryce, I mean, I've read through it. Is there anywhere in the bill, because I know sometimes those things are lengthy, is there anywhere in the bill that says if you have a $400,000 house, we would provide you with $500 a year in property tax relief if this passes? Or are they just vaguely saying if you supported this, it might relieve your property tax?
That's exactly right. It's the latter. There's no language suggesting that there's any sort of lockbox or that there's any
guarantee.
There's any guarantee. It's just conceptually, would you support an income tax hike if we could maybe promise some property tax relief, which Illinoisans have been sold that bill of goods before. We've heard it with the temporary income tax hike, which later became permanent. We heard it with tollways. We've heard it with things like the lottery, paying for education. These things have consistently failed year after year. Every single time the legislature has these kinds of promises, they just never come to fruition.
Yeah, well, I think that I'm a big no on that one, and probably all 3 of these. I'm going to talk about the others here in just a couple of minutes, but people can find out more about this tax advisory, property tax advisory, on the website at illinoispolicy.org. Bryce, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate getting him on here because I don't live in Illinois and I don't study those things like I would if I lived there, I think. That's part of the problem. I'm more familiar with the things here in Missouri. They also have a ballot proposal, and again, it's a referendum, so it wouldn't be binding, but if they detect that there's support for it, the legislature will do this. They're going to be asked whether or not IVF and other medically appropriated assisted reproductive treatments should be covered by insurance plans and that cover other pregnancy benefits. So, in other words, it's an attempt to basically curb concerns that, bans on abortion are going to affect IVF somehow. It has nothing to do with that. But you know what's going to happen next. They're going to try to force insurance companies to cover those huge expenses. And I'm going to feel bad for somebody that's got to go through IVF, but that's your choice, right? At some point. And also there's a third question asking if candidates on Illinois ballots should be subject to civil penalties if they interfere with, quote, an election worker's official duties, end quote, as some sort of way to intimidate poll watchers, I imagine, is what that's all about. And you know that if it gets a positive vote around the state, they're going to try to push that through the Illinois legislature. I'm a big fat no on all three of those. That'll be on the ballot for my friends listening in the People's Republic of Illinois this morning. All right. Coming up, it is time for Wiggins America. We're going to be back right after this.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Tons of sunshine on this Friday, and though it's chilly right now out the door, it's a nice afternoon. Look for a high of 71. Tonight, clear skies, falling through the 60s for evening plans, 45 for the low. The weekend, top 10 weekend on the way. Saturday, sunny, chilly start, but a mild afternoon, 75. Sunday, chilly start, but sunny and 75 Sunday afternoon. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Swedish truck maker AB Volvo reported a bigger drop than expected in its third quarter adjusted operating profit and said it sees roughly unchanged demand next year as customers continue to be cautious. Volvo said the volume drop hurt its profits in combination with an increase in spending on research and development and a negative price mix. Aldi is unveiling its lowest price Thanksgiving spread in 5 years. The discount grocer chain announced its inflation-busting holiday meal for $10 at a cost of $47. The Thanksgiving meal includes a butterball turkey with spices, gravy, macaroni and cheese, stuffing, and more. European aircraft maker and Boeing rival Airbus said it will lay off 2,500 workers as it tries to turn around its struggling defense and space division. The company's defense and space business struggled last year, notably taking a $511 million loss on the long-troubled military transport plane. Futures are mixed. That's Your Money Now.
Pure opportunity. It's what Michigan is all about. The opportunity to do more. The opportunity to connect with the best talent. The opportunity for people of all backgrounds to grow and expand their business. The opportunity to live and work in a state where paychecks go further. The opportunity is now, and it's right here in Michigan. Visit MichiganBusiness.org to discover all the ways the Michigan Economic Development Corporation can help your business thrive.
Everyone on the road is trying to make it to their destination safely. You can help by staying aware of the large trucks and buses around you. They take longer to stop, have large blind spots, and make wide turns that require caution from other drivers. It takes all of us working together to share the road safely. Learn more at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov. Paid for by FMCSA.
A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Just had an accident reported Highway K at Mexico Road, and crews are still on the scene of an accident southbound 270 as you approach Ladue Road. And now they've got the two right lanes blocked, and traffic is jammed back through Page. This is a little bit south of Olive. And but that's the worst of it, because if you're going eastbound 70 or eastbound 364 or 6440 from out west into downtown, things actually look pretty good, and we're fine on the bridges if you are headed in from a few minutes from Illinois, and we look good on the Illinois side in general. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 833 at 97.1, St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Well, I don't know how you're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show right now. Maybe you're at work and you're staring at your computer screen while you're listening to us in the background, or if you are doom scrolling on your phone already at 8:33 in the morning. But if you're looking at a screen that much, it really can cause issues with your eyes. It actually can cause something called CVS. And I'm serious, it's called computer vision syndrome, and it can lead to all sorts of issues like dry eye, blurred vision, even headaches. If you deal with chronic headaches, that could be a potential reason why you're dealing with that, right? And that's why you need to call the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates, because they're going to be able to help with any eye issue that you're having. Yes, you hear us calling them the doctors, and that's because more than 250 doctors go to them as patients. That tells you a lot when the doctors they're trusting Ophthalmology Associates for their care. Maybe you just need an annual eye exam, which I have mine coming up with ophthalmology next month, or you are dealing with something like glaucoma, macular degeneration. Call Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. What you're going to do is you're going to be helped by one of the great staff members there. You're going to also be seen by other doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, or Samuel Berry, and they can help you with anything you're dealing with. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Missouri's judicial system gives voters the final say in retaining their judges. So know your judges before you vote November 5th. Visit yourmissourijudges.org. That's yourmissourijudges.org.
Paid for by the Missouri Bar, Misha Epps, Executive Director.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Missouri's Amendment 3 is cleverly worded to convince you that it only allows abortions until fetal viability. But it has loopholes that allow for abortions through all 9 months of pregnancy. Abortion proponents used to say safe, legal, and rare. But now they want abortion as common as the morning after pill. Plus, minor-age children will have access to sex change surgeries without parental consent. Vote no on Amendment 3.
Paid for by Leadership for America PAC, John B. Royal Treasurer.
100-mile-per-hour discussion starters, even in heavy traffic. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
In my view, we should only do paper ballots hand counted. That's it. I mean, I'm a technologist. I know a lot about computers, and I'm like, the last thing I would do is trust a computer program, because it's just too easy to hack. It's too easy to add just one line, and it's really difficult to hack paper ballots. So, in-person voting with proof of with ID, which, by the way, every country has. I mean, like almost every country that has democratic elections requires in-person voting with voter ID. It's super weird to not have that. I think that's the only way to effectively address fraud.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Hey, Ryan, I would argue that not only is Elon Musk a technologist, he's a rocket scientist. And he understands the risk of computerized elections in a way that most of us can't, and how easily it would be to tamper with.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that we're in an era where one side of the aisle yells very loudly and actually sues against voter integrity laws, but also just the conversations that you have, not necessarily in the legislature and in the lawmaking process. The conversations that we're having as a nation it's generally speaking, the right is going, well, we need more secure elections, and the left is going, well, no, you need to stop undermining elections. Like they're saying you're just causing everybody to doubt elections. Well, if you're in the camp, regardless of whether you're left or right, that's saying we need to make sure that we all trust our elections again.
Right.
Then why would you be suing against laws that make half the country trust the elections again?
Thank you.
It makes no sense.
I've said it for years that the only possible reason you wouldn't want to know who's voting is so that you could open up the possibility to count as many votes as you wanted, whether they were legitimate votes or not. That's the only reason. Period.
I like voter anonymity. I'm not saying we should try to make voting records public from every single person, but there are ways. I mean, Elon Musk is talking about it. There are ways that we've been doing this for years, and we've not had questions. And, there's always been, little things about who's stuffing ballots, who's making up ballots. But
that's mostly in Illinois.
That's in
I
Illinois.
just want to point that out since you live over there.
Right. But that's traceable, too. If you had a non-corrupt government that was going to look into these things, you would be able to. So it's all about checks and balances. That's what he's talking about, and that's all that anybody's talking about.
I saw this clip from Kamala Harris, and I'll admit I don't know when it was from, if it was recent or if this is from 2019, but they were talking about if she would support voter ID laws, and she said something to the effect of, well, some of these people, they don't have access. They live in rural areas. They don't have access to a Kinko's or a whatever the case may be. They can't go Xerox that. What? This is how stupid the comment was. I mean, that's the only word I can think of to describe what came out of her mouth.
Yeah,
that's the issue.
If you live on the left coast or the right coast, you must think that the middle of the country is just like the middle of nowhere,
like dirt floors.
I tell you what, I don't have access to that Kinko's.
Them Kinko things.
You think we
What's
walk
that
around
Kinko
with a
thing?
piece of wheat in our mouth and we drive our tractors? Like we have access. Okay, you don't even need to go to a Kinko's. Why does that? What does that have to do with showing your ID to vote? You have to have a Kinko's.
To some of them, it could sound like a sex shop. Like you got to be really careful. I'm not going to that Kinko's place. I don't care what they do there.
Yeah, we have values.
Yeah, thank you.
You want to hear some voter registration numbers?
I do. What do you got for me?
Well, this is from The Hill. It says that Democrats' voter registration advantage has dropped in 3 key battleground states: Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Nevada. Now, these are states that, and actually almost all the swing states, have a Democrat registration advantage.
Okay.
Even when Republicans win, the Democrats have more voter registration. But that is dwindling in at least, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Nevada. Now, the other battleground states, Georgia, Michigan, and Wisconsin, don't register by party, so we don't really know what those are. But the gap is narrowing in Republicans' favor in at least those 3 states that you can track. So I would count that to be some good national news.
Sure it is. And that's kind of how things started going in Florida a few years ago.
Yeah, very true. And I think that's actually flipped over to where you actually have more registered Republicans now for the first time. Here's another one from the Miami Herald that I'm really excited to report to you today. Former President Donald Trump is narrowly leading Vice President Kamala Harris with early voters in battleground states. Can you believe that? In the 2020 election, 60% of Democrats were voting early by mail compared to just 32% of Republicans. And now in battleground states, it's essentially tied.
Wow.
So that the article headline is sea change happening in voting.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is a major, major change. And we know that in 2020, we were all saying vote day of. The problem with that is that then if you just happen to get busy, your kid's sick or whatever happens, and you miss day of, you're done.
Or half the machines at your Maricopa County voting location that's the heavy Republican district simply don't work.
Yeah, or they, in 2022 or 3, they just couldn't print ballots anymore.
Yeah, it's a problem.
All of a sudden, now a lot of people voting. I wish we could print ballots. That'd be great. I wish we'd have done that ahead of time.
And I've encouraged it. I think a lot of people have talked about how we need to get Republicans beyond that. I'm going to go on Election Day no matter what, because I brought the ballot in here from St. Louis County. I don't know what the Illinois ballot looks like. Have you seen a sample ballot from Illinois
No,
yet?
that's why I haven't voted yet, because I'm waiting.
Yeah.
To get my sample
I don't know
ballot.
how long it is, but in St. Louis County, there are 43 issues on the ballot. And let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those are either local or statewide amendment and or propositions that take you a minute to read and digest, and you still can't tell heads or tails from most of it because the ballot language is not honest. So for the low-educated voter, it's going to take them 45 minutes or an hour to fill that thing out.
Yeah.
And if you get to the polls, and most of these polling places have 15 or 20 spots in them, and they're tied up for an hour,
you'll get out of line.
People are going to give up, and they're going to go home. So go early. Please, whatever you do, starting next Tuesday in Missouri, you can vote in person, absentee, no excuse. Find out where to do that in your county, wherever you're listening to me, and go do it.
I saw that 500,000 people have already voted early in Georgia, and it absolutely shattered their early voting records before. So I guess before the record was about 136,000 people. After yesterday, 550,000 people have already voted. And to your point, Ryan, you're talking about how Democrats, historically, they have voted early. So if you're seeing this massive uptick, you have to assume that a lot of that are the registered Republicans who are coming forward, and this might be the first time ever for them to vote early. This is going to be the first time I've voted early.
What's going to be the vegetable vote this year, you think, Ryan?
What's the vegetable vote?
Well,
Explain that to me.
Well, I mean, did you see that Jimmy Carter voted? He's a vegetable. So there's no way in hell he filled out that ballot. Jimmy Carter is comatose.
Yeah.
Every picture we've seen of him in public, he's laying back, slack-jawed, asleep, and his grandson wants you to believe that he couldn't wait to vote for Kamala Harris. So somebody forged his signature and filled that ballot out just so they could say he voted at age 100.
We also know that people were going into nursing homes in 2020 and voting,
harvesting votes.
Just basically telling them, this is what you're doing.
People got busted in South St. Louis for doing that 10 years ago. They were ordering ballots, having them delivered, having the people tell them when they got delivered, and they'd go back and collect them and vote for the individual and then send them back in, these absentee ballots. And they got actually arrested for it and charged. So it is fraud, but in most cases, it's never investigated.
So question, that's crazy, but question, if someone like Jimmy Carter, if they die before the election, it doesn't matter, right? They have, as long as they cast their ballot by election day, that would count, right? Or like
in Georgia, that's true.
If
in
you
Illinois,
die
you
on
can
election
vote
day,
if you're dead.
yeah. Is there any sort of stipulation with that either of you are aware of?
Well, Marc said it right. If you vote before you die, it counts, except in Illinois. I just thought it was a good joke, and I wanted to say it again.
That was really funny. Did you hear me
laugh?
laughing out loud? It was.
Yeah, you were like,
yeah.
I would have got crickets from Carl if he was here. Ethan's being nice over there to me. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm a little addled today because I went to the Blues game last night and didn't get in bed till like 10:45, almost 11. Had to get up at 3, so I'm a little out of it today.
That's okay. I get it.
My joke telling rhythm is off. Would
Today,
you agree, Kim?
Well, I don't know if I'd just say today, Mark.
That was a slow pitch, but thank you for delivering.
As long as you got 3 hours in you, this last hour you can just kind of phone it in.
I got 10 more minutes here, and then I can go home and take a nap, which is what I fully intend. I may take a Carl Middleman kind of nap
AKA
today.
5 hours. Woo! That's not a nap, folks.
Yeah, Carl's off again Monday, so poor Ethan's got to go through all this again on Monday. Can you hang around, Ryan?
Yeah.
All right. We'll get to a quick break here. I do want to remind you again of the event that I am scheduled to attend tonight, and there's still tickets available if you want to go and you like bourbon. This is something you need to experience. I'll give you the details in just a minute.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. A clear view of the roads from the Window World Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. Well, on the roads, we've had a really good commute today. That's just how it is. And we did have an accident earlier on southbound 270 south of Olive, somewhere between Olive and Ladue Road. And it was blocking the right lanes, and it caused a delay in that area. Looks like it's still unwinding at this hour. So if you are traveling there, it's still a slow go that goes back near Page. But eastbound 70 looks good at 64. 40 does 44. No delays for Illinois drivers at this hour either. We are in good shape. From the Window World Traffic Center, I'm Sue Thomas, 848 at 97.1. St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Annie Fry Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Lieutenant Colonel Dakota Wood, do you think that the United States and also the world understands the gravity of what took place in Israel on October 7th?
No. Weekdays from noon to 3.
You know, I'm a fan of Rhino Shield. I've talked to you about it for years. I've had it for 17 years. I'm a customer. I try not to talk to you about things that I haven't tried out myself, because I can tell you that when you describe what Rhino Shield is, I think words that are apt would be beautifully durable. It's beautiful and it's durable, because you get a 25-year warranty. 17 years in, it looked as good as it did the day they put it on. It forms a ceramic coating of your house, whatever you put it on, and it's impervious to water, 90% impervious to the sun, which of course gives you energy efficiency because it rejects those UV rays, and it increases the value of your home, because you've eliminated that maintenance problem of having to go to the big box store and get paint every 4 or 5 years and repaint it. So call my friend Darren right now. Let him come out. Still plenty of time to get this beautiful product on your house. It is beautifully durable, as you heard me say. It is Rhino Shield. Call for your free evaluation today, 877-25-RHINO, or go online to 877-25rhino.com.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools. $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too. to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
Celebrate the spooky season with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. You spell it backward or forward, it spells the same. Zero Res.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Working hard to pay for everyone else's entitlements. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. The Marc Cox Morning Show, on the air and streaming at 971talk.com.
I got sick of my job, sick of my wife, sick of my future, and sick of
the media has begun discussing the phenomena of secret Trump voters. I don't know if you've heard about this. People who publicly say they would never vote for Trump, but then when they go in the voting booth, they do. It's a small group. They're called the Biden family.
Jim Gaffigan, the comedian at the Al Smith dinner last night, having a little bit of fun.
That was last night, yeah.
You know what he pointed out, and Trump mentioned one thing, that he was good to be back in New York. He'd be appreciative if they didn't serve him any subpoenas when he was there. That which Letitia James was sitting right behind him on the dais. The one that has persecuted him, ran for office on the promise of persecuting him, was sitting right behind him. And Gaffigan pointed it out at some point in his comments.
Wow, that's got to be weird.
It would have been great if Trump would have turned around and poured a drink on her head, wouldn't it?
It's just surprising that somebody could. I mean, she campaigned on, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring down Donald Trump. I don't
the
know
whole
what
family.
I don't know what his crime is yet, but I'll find it. I'll make it up if I have to. That was her campaign.
Pretty much.
Why was she there? Why would there not be someone more notable than her there?
Well, she's the Attorney General for the state of New York. I mean, that's why I'm sure that she had a spot on the dais. All of the big politicians. I don't know if the governor was there or not.
You know what's weird about Trump is that he's got a good sense of humor, but he has completely thrown the whole late night SNL thing on its head. Because it used to be that the president nominee, whoever it is, would have to go on shows or at least act like, yeah, everybody's joking. I know they're tearing me down, but everybody's having a good time. He's like, no, that's not cool.
Yeah.
I'll laugh at something when it's funny, but that's not funny.
I thought this was pretty good. I heard Reardon play yesterday. I wanted to play it for people again. They put together a quick montage to sum up the Brett Baer Kamala Harris interview the other day. And this was it.
Donald Trump and
Democrats voted.
Donald Trump, 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 and Donald Trump, Donald Trump.
President Biden had a fundraiser debate stage.
Let's go back to Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump.
30 seconds. That's all you need to know. That's all she said. Every question, she pivoted back to Donald Trump.
She's making up for all the times that Biden would just sit there and say, wasn't it my opponent? He's like, he did not want to utter the word Trump. So Kamala's just making sure she gets a bunch of Trumps in.
Yeah, I think you're right. Hey, just a reminder, I'm going to the St. Louis Bourbon Festival tonight. It's going to be fantastic. There's still tickets available if you go to stlouisbourbonfestival.com. And they fill up about 4 or 5 streets around Lemp Hall down there on Lemp Street. There are hundreds of bourbons you can try. It all goes to benefit Code 3 Response. It's a fundraiser for that great charity for first responders. So hopefully I'll see you out there tonight wandering around, sampling some good bourbon. They got food trucks. The weather ought to be exceptional. So go to that website if you're interested in going tonight, and maybe I'll see you out there. It should be a good time. It was packed last year.
Until you said tickets are available, I thought you were just bragging.
Oh, no.
You're inviting people.
Now, you may only be able to get general admission tickets, but that's not a big deal because there's more bourbon than 500 men could drink at this thing. You're not going to run out of things to sample and try and all that. So, and it benefits a great cause.
Real quick plug for Wiggins America this weekend. I have Dennis Prager.
Oh,
on
nice.
the show.
That's cool.
Yeah, we were trying to get him on last weekend, and we just ran out of time, and so he will be on this weekend.
I love
one of the most
videos.
Powerful voices. I love watching him go in and just school people on these important issues.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't really get nervous talking to people. I'm a little nervous to talk to him because he's super smart.
Oh, yeah.
And he's good at radio, too, so you can't, like, radio your way through it because he'll know exactly what you're doing.
What is
you know?
radioing your way through it?
Well, that's
look
what I'm
like?
doing right now. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm pretending I do.
Just keep talking and filling space until you get to the next break, which is what Ryan is discussing, I think, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what
I
I'm
thought so.
Got it. I'll try that.
Kilmeade's up next. I'm sure you'll have more from the interview they did with Donald Trump on Fox and Friends this morning. Hey, have a great weekend. We're going to enjoy the great weather. I'm sure you will, too. We'll see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been hurt on the job, you don't need the biggest law firm. You need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis, is the insurance company playing games, trying to deny the medical treatment you need, refusing to pay your lost wages. Let Onder Law fight for the benefits you deserve. Injured on the job? Call Onder Law for free. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9, all zeros.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks